access to the market. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Blunders by Dr. Michelle. Is we invite speakers, they come and they share their mistakes, their blunders, because most of the time when we talk blunders, or when we talk entrepreneurship, we talk as if I start here and I work hard, and here I am successful, right? And that's not actually the whole truth. Yes, it's true, but it's not the whole truth. The other truth is I struggled, I went bankrupt, I charged business money, that's the real truth. And we don't talk about that, right? So my biggest brothers is to actually say, no. Come and tell us about this part that you are hiding, right? Because we all are going to make our mistakes. So the talks are recorded. As you can see, we are going to upload them on my biggest brothers. I have a very efficient videographer. I'm definitely sure by next week Monday, the first one will be up, right? No pressure. So we're going to upload them. And we are actually giving away prizes. So if your name is in here, right? I've got someone to do a raffle, right? Throughout in between the speakers, and I'm going to select your name, right? And I've got prizes here, books. So I've got so many prizes to give, right? So you can use one in there, so that's the first requirement. Oh, and of course, I have some products also to give away, right? So it's Black Friday today, right? So we're not giving things away 50%, we're giving things for free. So the requirements are very simple. Your name should be in here, and you need to have subscribed to my biggest brothers YouTube channel. So as you come forward, I'm gonna need evidence. You're gonna show me your screen on your phone that you guys have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, you forfeit the prize. Are we good? It's as simple as that. Right? Subscribe, put your name in there, and stand a chance to win. Very simple, right? You get a chance to ask the speakers questions. So they're gonna come, share their stories on stage, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask them questions or to comment, right? Those who are sensitive to copyright, we're recording the session. So if you don't want to be on TV, maybe just sit right at the back, because if you're sitting behind, you are definitely looking at the back, and there's a chance that you will be on TV. Right. Social media handles, we are on Twitter. Twitter is Blunders. We're on YouTube. YouTube, my biggest Blunders, and subscribe if you can, please. And then we're on TikTok, my biggest Blunders, and on Instagram, my Blunders story. Okay? And the hashtags for today, right? As I've said, please put your phones on silence, guys. Please. Hashtag my biggest blunders, hashtag my blunder story, hashtag MBBAlex. Hashtag my biggest blunders, hashtag my blunder story, hashtag MBB1. Any questions before we start? Are we good? Alright. So we have 5 amazing speakers. They're going to come here, share their story for about 20-30 minutes, and then from there you can ask them questions. Because a lot of the time you think like, oh, I should get a job, I should get a job. Once you get the answer in your book, so we then try to see how we can change the business, how we can get more answers, how we can get more Patreon, like try and mix all that stuff into a bigger scale. So fast forward, 2018 came about. Yeah, we tried selling home door to door. But I don't know much about that. When I have to do something, I have to do it, and I do it. Like, so we went about that. Business I grew. I was learning also when I'm going to places like this. People will tell me to say, hey, you need to register a company. You need to go to CIPC. You need to go and do your test clearances. You need to do all those things, and everything quite worked out well because I told myself that I need to do this thing. Okay, to cut the story short, then because the business was doing good, we got our first listing. Freedom actually called us pre-COVID in 2019 to say we've seen
there, like they from Bengal, like Bengal, like so I went over, we negotiated. As much as they cut me down in terms of pricing, I had to reduce the price. Yeah, but in October of 2019, we made our first, we sent our first stock. And thank you so much, Mpagat. Like within 3 weeks, because we brought in 100 units, within 3 weeks we were sold out, and it was a good achievement that we had gone through. Thank you. So 2020, even Nancy lockdown, they will call me bring stock, like because we're part of like essential products. Like everything seemed to quite work out well, like but in a small scale, like because we weren't there yet in terms of capacity. Then now we're in 2023, then 2022, because as you move around business, you get people, you join incubators, like at the incubator as a small business. So I happen to be part of the manufacturer incubators in Kemin. So they incubate manufacturers. If you are in like cosmetics or skincare or hair care products. So I went there, they incubated me. I would sometimes go there and learn and manufacture cosmetics. And they sent me an email. The lady knows me. She sent me an email because here's an opportunity. They are looking for township businesses that are into manufacturing. There's a company called Family Tree, and they're looking to incubate because they've been talking about township industrialization, about the whole thing, how thing like township revitalization. So they said she told me that apply. She sent me the forms, and I was so excited. Like I went there and I applied. It was towards the end of 2020, like I think around November, around that time. So the program was supposed to start this year, the coming year, which is 2023. So I went there, then I applied. Everything quite went well. Then I got a email in March of 2023. Today was included. You've been selected for an interview for manufacturing businesses in the township. Can you tell us which dates you'll be free? So they sent me time slots. Then I said, okay, on Wednesday around 3 o'clock we can do the interview. So when they said it was going to be a Zoom meeting. There were 4 panel of judges, and it was me, the 5th one. So I went there, I did the interview. They said you have to practice, give your all. So I went there, I sold my business, almost kind of like a pitch. So I sold my business, and then they told me, okay, we'll call you if you be interested. The program will run for a year, which means it starts this year in 2023 and beginning of 2023 till the end of 2023. I said, okay, yeah, I'll make time, I'll be there. So, yeah, I think 2 weeks after, because that was March, then in April, yeah, I remember it was April, they sent me an email. Like I just printed it out. Like, okay, it's dated the March of 2023, 8th of March. So they told me that congratulations, you've been selected to be part of one of the businesses that will be incubated. And then they explained everything. When they were explaining everything, they said you are going to get mentorship, free mentorship. You are going to get free piloting of your products. You are going to send your products and you can pay. You are going to send your products with discount. All of that, and you get so excited. Okay, yeah, this is what's happening. And at the end of it all, you also you're also going to get some funding. So okay, so they said we should come for some induction at Midland Protea Hotel. Yeah, they said we should come to Protea Hotel for some induction so that they launch the whole thing and explain what we will go through for the year. So we went there, it was nice and exciting. So when we came there, they told us that out of 128 companies that had applied, we wanted only 20 companies, but we decided to have 25 companies to accommodate others, and you are like the cream of the crop, like you are the best. So like, that was exciting news. Everybody was like, yeah, like out of all, because they look for businesses all over Gauteng townships, like because it's a Gauteng program. Like you think of yourself, okay, that's from Alex, and now all over Gauteng, like yeah, and they told us that yeah, this is happening, like you are now in good hands, like we're going to take care of you, and they even brought us food. Just imagine posting us in a hotel, like in tortilla, like they served us like Oma, 7 colors and all that. Like we were so excited. It was okay, yeah, there's money here, like and so time went by. They called us for a second meeting because that was induction. They called us for a second meeting. They said part of the MECs would be there. There's this other MEC, she was there, and they said so they will be there. There's a pretty much us. And you see all these things that are happening. It's quite like promising that you are in the right place. And we went to a place called Space. There was a place to find money for like, okay, maybe they did a mistake.
like, I went and asked them. They told me that, and imagine in Midrand, think of the rent. Rent in Midrand is around like 5,000 for 18 square meter. The one that I was renting is like 5.3 and 400 for parking. So, so like, okay, guys, you made a mistake. Here's my proof of payment and all that. They're like, oh, you paid, by the government didn't pay, so don't worry, because you paid, we'll talk to them. I said, okay, please. Then that was August. October, I get another eviction notice. I get another eviction notice to say, because you are behind with your payments. And like, guys, what's really happening? Like, I'm paying every time. I'm making sure that I'm staying here. I had the budget. You know, with rent, you don't want to miss, because like, and they don't play that side. Like, they like we, and they don't even talk much. They send you an email, then you find your unit locked. That's how it is. Like, and order for late repayments, I think they charge you 5%. Think 5% of 5,500. So it's a lot of money. It's like it was like 300, 400 rands for late repayment. And late repayments, okay, they give you some grace period for like 3-4 days. After that, you have to pay the 5% extra. So now they gave me, I think they gave me a bill for 10,000 to say I'm owing 10,000. I was like, guys, what's really happening? So I tried to talk to the family tree guys to say, they said, no, don't worry, government pays after quarterly, so after 3 months. So the guys should know that they will receive their payment. I'm like, okay, like, so now, because I've been giving emails, they start calling me. Goes, sorry to inform you, but they haven't been paying these guys, and we've been trying to talk to them. They haven't been responding. So unfortunately, let me probably just read the let me try and read the email. So it says, dear tenant, as we have not received full payment for you, this is the last one. For your November rental, we now confirm that your lease has been terminated as per clause 14 of your lease agreement. We absorbed your deposit to cover your balance, because I've been paying. Your outstanding balance at this point in time is 10,187.7 cents. So now, this is the last email. They sent it beginning of this month of November. So right now, I was telling Mr. Roshi that I had a meeting with them yesterday to fix all of that thing. So yeah, now they said I'm owing 10,000. I said, guys, you can't say that. Because the other thing we should talk to ourselves is say you can't. I told them that no, I can't be paid. I've been paying all this time my share part, and you know what happened? We got into in this deal as all of us, me, the government, and you guys, and let's talk about it. What's really happening? I can't just pay 10,000 that I haven't prepared for. So I mean, all this time, like from start, I started the story with an optimism of this is an opportunity that I have to grab with both hands, and I don't have to let it slide. And to think that you were chosen from companies, from 128 companies, and you're like one of the companies that they said, okay, we see potential for employment, for all of those things, for growth, and we want to incubate you. But now you find yourself getting into debt, because the other thing I was thinking, now I invested all of the 38,000 into buying equipment, into buying the shelves. Where am I going to take it? Because even if you check my where I stay, the room is very small. I can't put anything. Even one Chinese guy said, "Oh, you're living? How much you give me?" Like, so because part of the shelves, I bought them for 7,000. He said, "Okay, let me give you 5,000 for the shelves." And I was like, okay, like I didn't know how to answer him, but I was like, okay, we'll talk. Like, but I mean, it's real stuff. Like, this is really happening, and I was just thinking to myself that, looking back, I thought this was an opportunity, and I gave it my all. And while I was like reflecting, well, I do blame myself probably for going all out, because sometimes you just don't think that something bad might happen. I mean, that's the other thing. That's the other reason we sign contracts, so that once it goes south, you have to. So right now, um, I have to find a new space. But they said okay, they will keep my stuff, and I will have to be paying like 2.5 for storage. But I don't have to. I won't be coming to use this thing. They will just store my things for 26.50 every month. So I was like, okay, I will pay the money up until I find a new place, because you can't just go in to get a new lease just like that. Like, so that's what's happening. And but above everything, I was talking as I'm talking with other entrepreneurs, just explaining what I'm going through. Is like, okay, this happened. When you're in business, you like taking risks, and this kind of things, you can either win or things can go south. But at at the end of it all, I mean, like, I met people while I was there, and as much as I'm in this blunder, I'm still working on fixing it. Uh, and I'm just hopeful that things will work out fine. As much as we're in December, we're going for December. And I think the other thing is, like, not every opportunity is for you. Like you might be called by Pick and Pay to say, even those guys that tell you that you have to pay, they will pay you within 90 days. Sometimes once you don't provide up until that 90 days, they cancel the contract and you don't get your money back. So it's to allow yourself to grow steadily, because I thought like this was growth. Now I'm going to mid-trend. They are going to take me serious. I'm going to be respected because now I'm in a new place. Other than when you say, because some people when you say I'm from Alex, they say okay, they are not serious. Like, so, like, just grow with the people around you. Ask help from them. Because when I was here in Alex, I didn't get any eviction notices. Like, everything was just working out fine. I knew that I will be able to pay whatever is that I need to run the business, and I just allowed myself to grow in that kind of way. But right now, this is happening, and funny enough, I have to come back to Alex, and I know a lot of people were kind of missing me. I goes, now why did you move to Midrand? Because in Midrand, the other thing is people don't know me, and they treat me like an outsider because I'm not from there. Like, so the sales aren't much as the way I was in here, because you would think that Midrand has money. People in Alex have money. There's a lot of money here, and they understand my products because I'm selling petroleum jelly and some aquas cream. They understand my products. They use my products, other than people in Midrand who will tell you, would say, I'm in Angosing 76 cream. I don't use the Vaseline, like, and all that kind of stuff. Like, so, like, take time, like, grow steadily. Once you see, I'm not saying don't take risk. Once you see an opportunity, calculate your risk to say, okay, once I get myself into this, will I be able to also mitigate that kind of risk so that I don't put myself into too much debt or into too much problems? Because already we kind of going through daily problems each and every day, and just to be with your community. And I think from there, that's where the growth is, allowing the time to grow. Because one other thing, I think once you start a business as an entrepreneur, you're already comparing yourself with big businesses. Like, I was already comparing myself to Vaseline. Like, I mean, they have over 100 years. I'm like 3 years, 4 years, like, but I'm like, okay, they are my competitors. No, like, they're not. And I think from there, it was it has humbled me in a way to say, okay, calm down, like, don't worry, like, come back to Alex again. Come back to Alex, like, continue what you were doing. As much as I don't know what I will do with the equipment, but I'll find a way. And yeah, as I'm talking to other entrepreneurs, and just going through the experience of what I'm going through. It will, akunanto engadluli, like, and as we trust God, like everything will work out fine. And yeah, I think I've said a mouthful. I love you all. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Can you give me a round of applause? Right. Sure. So this is a blunder that you are in.
Yeah, I'm going through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe let's go back 1 or 2 steps back. So you started Guppy here in Alex.
So we're working from our back room, A13 and
Yeah.
number 20, like we had like a garage that we had turned into a back room. So I had my mini stove, I had 2-plate stove, like my few pots where I would mix the stuff and just normal working equipment. So it was like, okay, use whatever that you have to start the process of the idea.
So how was it going? I mean, how much were you making on average, before you left for Midrand? Do you remember?
Yeah, so in Alex, when we started, we would like make 300 units in like almost a week, 5 days. We will be able to make 300 units because we were getting the idea of building capacity in our manufacturing. So that's how things were.
So you had clients who were buying.
Yeah, we had clients, our neighbors, friends, relatives, people from church. Like it wasn't even that difficult because you would even get a person to come and knock. Because like, and they buy, and because people talk, and that's what had sold our business more, word of mouth. People talking, hey, yaz mbonena amafuta, like they work. Well, they call it Vaseline. Mbonena Vaseline, it works. Like, bring some from me. Like people talk. That's how we relied on our growth as a business. Yeah.
So you moved from Alex to Midrand.
Yes, I moved from Alex to Midrand.
How many units do you make there a week?
So, considering the fact that we have been efficient for over the years, we've seen what will work for our efficiency. Right now, I can make like 600, 700 units in a day.
So how many were you selling?
So in terms of sales, I will, before then, we would sell like 700 units in a month, considering all the shops. But when we went to Alex, we like
to Midrand.
When we went to Midrand, we sold in like 500 there because now we were far away from our clients, from our customers. We sold like 500 because the other thing is I would employ interns once, but because there's incurred costs also being in Midrand, traveling cost also, like it was a lot to handle.
But the food there is expensive.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't get ikota yakona, I think it costs like the smallest 35 rands. That's like
Alex
Alex 15 rand, 12 rand, 15 rands you can get a quota from
so
Alex.
it's double the price.
So it's double the price, and it's not even that good. Like it's not even that good.
So you have clients in Alex. You are selling roughly about 700 units.
Exactly. Yeah.
You go to Midrand.
Yes.
What happens to the clients in Alex?
So now there was inefficiency in the, like I would, if I'm able to deliver to you in Alex, that will be that day that I'm able to deliver to you. But most of the time I'll be AWOL. Like I'll be like, oh, I'll ask someone to come over. I had so many stories because now, like, because the other thing, I think the money that I had to buy a car, because when you're running a business, you need a car. It's not a want. With the money that I was planning to buy a car, I was saving for a car. I had to buy the equipment, and I was telling myself that no, a car will wait. But now I even needed more of a car, and everything seemed to be like everywhere, and I couldn't get the balance.
So you see the email eviction. Have you ever received an eviction notice before?
Nah, it was my first time. And
Okay.
As I was here in Alex, even one time did I receive an eviction notice. Yeah. People giving me days to say, if you don't pay within this time, we are going to lock your unit and all that stuff. It was only in Midrand that I encountered such.
So where's the family tree now in all this thing? As you guys are experiencing. And I assume the other 20 or so are also experiencing the same thing.
Well, I think in my case, because part of what when I decided to go to Midrand, I planned to say, okay, this is what's going to happen if it stays the way it stays. But a lot of businesses were like, luckily I had people from Alex because they still bought the product. So I had some income coming in. But for other businesses, like you had people who were in like manicure, pedicure, like, and they also spent a lot of money to do all that kind of stuff. And now you're seeing one by one getting evicted, like getting evicted. And even one lady asked, because I also don't have a place to store my things. Can I put them in a unit because you're still there? Like, so 3 people were evicted in front of me, like seeing that this is happening. People are evicted from Midrand. Yeah.
So you saw people being.
Yeah, I
kicked
saw
out.
like kicked out. Like,
So you were next.
look, yeah, now they're coming for me, and I was like all this time because government will never say no. They were like, no, don't worry, we'll sort it. Like, continue to stay there. Like, everything will work out. Like, fine. I was like, okay, like when you trust, like, and you don't want to be negative, but yeah, right now, because this is a termination, it's not like and kind of an eviction. This is like you completely out. Like,
Sure.
yeah.
So what's plan B now? You're going back.
So our meeting yesterday was to like, okay, guys, I don't have a place to move. They said by the end of November you're supposed to vacate the place. I said I don't have a place to put the stuff. Like, let's try and negotiate. Once I find the place, let me buy myself some time to get a proper place so that I know that when I move, I move to a right place. Because my equipment is still fresh and I don't want to now find it that I'm giving it away or something else is happening that I hadn't planned for.
Ngosi, yeah, it's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
But I know, as your name says, God is with you.
Yeah.
And we want to wish you all the best, man. And hopefully this thing will be sorted out.
Yeah.
Can we give him a round of applause, please? All right. So for the sake of time,
Okay.
for the sake of time, he's gonna be here. So please ask him questions as much as you can, maybe he can also share some of his advices. Can we give away some prizes, please?
Yeah, but
yeah. All right. So the rules are fairly straightforward. Fairly straightforward. Divito Lahao has to be in here. That's the rules. And you need to have subscribed to my Biggest Blunders YouTube channel. Right? Are we good? Does anyone need to? Not. Okay. All right. So the first prize we'll give about 3 prizes. Let's give the jelly as well. All right. So let's start with Ngosi's Haliboma Original Pro Skin. Right. So the rule is, as you come collect your prize, you show me your screen. I need to audit that you have subscribed. Are we good? Are we good?
Yes.
All right. The winner is Moshitwa Sefofa. Moshitwa? Oh, Moshitwa is not here. Okay, it's going. It's gone. It's gone. She went home. Okay. All right. The winner of the jelly, Sihle Ntuli. Come. I need to see. If you're not subscribed, you're not winning. Okay. The rules are simple, guys. Very simple. Vanessa, China. Sifuna ukubona. Yes, let's see. Yes, awesome. Thank you. That's simple, guys. That's simple. All right, 90 days to create and launch by Tiseto Maloma. He's also one
That's
of the
on the
speakers.
29th.
So if you go to my Biggest Blunders YouTube channel, you will see his talk in there. So we try and support local authors and entrepreneurs, but more specifically, we try and also support our speakers. So the winner of 90 days to create and launch. You guys are watching me. Oh, Mlando. Oh, okay. All right. It's possible. Gosh, by the time we're done, I would have given everybody. All right. Want to meet some kids? Sifuna ukubona proof. Born. Okay, awesome. All right. And then the last prize to give away is also from a local. She was actually supposed to be speaking today. Unfortunately, something came up. Tkodiswa Moraka, the Entrepreneur's Guide to the Promised Land. She's actually launching the book later today. Right. And the winner of the prize is Mpumelelo Shangase. Jangas. He's not here. Oh, guys. Yo, I'm going to run out of names. All right. And the winner is Tokozani Machangu. You're not subscribed. Oh, don't worry, guys. Your name is coming. As they are not subscribing. Smangele Kulakate. Subscribe.
Oh.
I'm going back with these prizes. Yes. I'm going back. Busiso Mayandu. Is it Mayandu? Subscribe to the bar. Why don't you just subscribe now? Just born, even. Just born. Okay. Alright. You're taking the book, not the book. Alright. Okay. Right. So the next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is an amazing young entrepreneur. I've had the opportunity to mentor her, or the privilege to mentor her for a while. You're going to be blown away. She's kind of like a freak, but a good one. So I'm looking forward to her talking. We welcome on stage Mamello Mufuke.
Hello.
There are other speakers that are still coming.
Testing. 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 Okay, testing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is
Do you want to do this?
This is, yeah, I'll do this. Okay. Okay, for the 11th time, my name is Mamelo Mofugeng. Hi, everyone. And I am a serial entrepreneur. Not an alcoholic, but a serial entrepreneur. So me as Mamelo Mofugeng, I was born and bred in Krugersdorp, which is in the West Rand, né? And then I grew up in parts of the Vaal and Paris. So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, how did I end up there? My mom is a teacher. She's from the Vaal. And my dad was a quantity surveyor. He's from a small farmland in the Free State. They met and they birthed the magic that is me right here, right now, you see? So we thank them for that. So I'm quite fortunate enough to have grown in an environment where there was already a business spirit. My dad was a businessman. Yes, he studied and went back to the hood, Kokasi e Tumahole in Paris. It's a small little township, like a tenth of Alex, maybe. And he opened a general dealership. So, you know, back in the day, you would have the general dealerships where it was a spaza shop, and then next door it was a butchery, and then next door it was a shabin. So he was quite fortunate to grow his business and actually gave me that base to say that when you are in business, you need to teach yourself and qualify yourself to be in the business. You need to take it seriously. So when I was a young girl, I didn't really have holidays or I must sleep over. Like, I was at the shop, being sebenza all the time at the shop. So I used to pack tomatoes, unpack stock, do random things just to keep you busy when you're around. As a child, they want to keep you busy, but at the same time, they don't want to waste your time. If you're going to be busy, at least there must be tomatoes packed. At least there must be stock unpacked. So I grew up wondering, what's this kitching sound when the till opens? I want that kitching. That's my goal right now, is that till. I must operate that till. So when I was I was 6 when I started working at the shop. I was in my early primary days. So by grade 5, I was about, I think, 10, 11. Now I'm like, okay, this one, she can operate the till. So I started operating the till, and I was, I've made it now. This was my dream. I'm operating the till. I've made it, So as I started operating the till, I kind of grew and realized that, okay, there must be more to this, The more I'm reaching out, the more I'm learning about customers. I'm learning, Guti, when the change is short, it's a problem. When the change is too much, it's not a problem with the customer. It's not a problem. You won't see them, in all honesty. So because I was always someone who installed things on their phone, I was quite, there's always that person in the family who downloads the software. He can fix your TV. He can do all of that. So I kind of always kept myself busy with technology, not knowing my later path, but I started from the till. Then my dad got a license to run a lotto machine, So now comes this gold machine. There's a stand, people are excited, it's lotto. When lotto started, the queue would start from there all the way there. Mind you, me, I'm 12. I'm 12 years old. My parents were like, this one, turn on my computer. That's where we'll put her. Let's train her, and she'll operate the machine. Now, the machine was very, very different because it's strict, In the morning, you start. In the afternoon, you cash out. Your till must balance. There's no debate about it. So now I kind of started to evolve into this system of the lotto machine. Now you can't touch me. Wednesdays, I'm there, lotto machine. After school, my parents will fetch me from school. I was schooling in Vanderbijl Park. They'd fetch me after school, drive all the way to Paris, and I would operate the lotto till late, close the shop. Next day, I'm back at school. This would also happen on Saturdays because that's when the draws would happen. And now my life is stress. Now it's stress because my till isn't balancing. Clients are coming to me saying, I didn't win, where's my refund? Now I'm in another level of stress. It's not even about rotten tamatis or stock in a misplaced place. Now I'm dealing with lotto and stress. So I continued, I grew, I evolved, I moved from the lotto machine. I was able to train somebody else to operate the lotto machine. Now I'm working in the tavern, which I know was very illegal at the time. But again, my parents, they're also hustling, they're also teaching me. And now I'm dealing with people who are coming to the tavern. So now I'm evolving, I'm growing up, I'm still in school, and I'm also now trying as I grow to do certain things at school. I'm selling chocolates, I'm selling sweets, I'm getting stock from the shop, I'm taking it to school, I'm selling, I'm making a profit, I'm speaking to my parents because they were not paying me to work at the shop. But I realized later on that all of the valuable lessons, they actually paved the way for me. So as much as they weren't paying me, they actually built the foundation of me as an entrepreneur right now. So I'm growing up, I'm in my early 20s, I'm selling hay, I'm selling herbs, I'm selling creams, I'm doing this. And unfortunately, the business at the time was also evolving due to different types of evolutions in the Kasi space, Kasi economics, So I'm now independent. I can no longer run to my parents to ask them for money or assistance. Now it's on me. As I'm evolving, I'm also learning, like, okay, what was that one thing? What did I love? And I actually really loved that lotto machine. So I found myself upskilling, training myself in the tech space. I'm doing everything that I can to gain skills. I'm learning how to code. I'm learning how to build front end, back end. But I'm still not sure what exactly I'm doing. So as time went by and I evolved and I kind of started to see more opportunities out there as they are today, I was fortunate enough to meet my business partner, Nguleko. You'll see him because we match. We always match. If you see me, just look for a matching person. He's there. And we founded this company called Saturated. Now, what Saturated is, it's a sector-agnostic digital solutions agency. We offer your web design. We offer your creative agency services. We offer software development. We offer quite a lot in the digital space, and we've kind of evolved from where we were. So from the till, again, to the lotto machine, the same with the business of Saturated. So now I'm fortunate enough to be in this space. I kind of have a strong background, but what I'm noticing is that, hey, everywhere I'm going, there's not many women in the room, nor is there many black women in the room. So I kind of learned very, very, very early was have a thick skin. You might not end up in a space where people look like you, where people act like you, where people are privileged like you, or come from a different background, but it doesn't matter. When you are there, you must show out and you must show up. And that is where I got to kind of get really, really strong in terms of who I am as a person and a lot of the lessons that I learned working at the shop when I was young. So now Saturated was born in COVID, was born, behind the doors. We hustling, we grinding, we working from home. We're not worried. We have internet. We're reaching for business. Things are growing. Things are moving, because now everybody needs to be digital. So it was tough, but we had exposure and a platform for opportunities, and we took it. We started servicing our customers. Now, one thing that I learned very early at the shop was the customer is not always right. And I had to implement that now in Saturated. Because you explain to the customer how processes work, but the customer will tell you, no, this is what I want. And often in those places where you don't have an agreement with someone, especially a signed agreement, which is very, very important in this case, is that if my end of the bargain is 50 and your end of the bargain is 50, we get to 100. And what's difficult in a service-based business is that you kind of don't measure yourself as stock. Because when you're selling tamatis and your tamatis run out, it's either you restock or you don't sell because you don't have tamatis. But when it's a service business, you're always thinking, when am I going to get that opportunity? It doesn't matter what. I'm not sleeping. I'm delivering. So we started working on more and more projects, and I would realize that I'm actually milking myself dry. Like, I don't have any more to give, but I want to give because I'm so excited. I'm passionate about technology. I'm passionate about innovation, and I want this business to grow. So we managed to land a client, quite a big project. It was going to cover about 3 months' rent at the time, and everything was going well. Introductions are made, presentations, the works. Only to find halfway throughout the project, the client had asked for access to some of the files in order for them to present to the client, because now we're working together as a group. I've never heard from that client ever again, like till today. Since 2020, gone. Those open files are gone. The invoice is incomplete, no payment. Your rent is due. Now you're also getting some notices. There's nothing you can do. Gone, disappear, calling, nothing. It's gone. Simple as that. All of that hard work of me milking myself dry, my business partner milking himself dry, all for it to fade just because of that 1 cent button. Then I realized, okay, I'm not going to play this game anymore, I have to. That's what the till fortunately helped me, and the lotto machine was accuracy is important. You need to fix a problem now, otherwise it will fester. And that's why, as he said, I'm a freak, but it's a control freak. That's what you must know. So, fine, it took some time, I had to accept this project is gone. We have to hustle. Things are hectic, things are moving, business is coming, but we're not really following what's going on. Like, money's coming in, but, when we need this, we're buying data, when we need this, we're going there, all of a sudden you realize that there's no money in the bank account. So what's actually going on? Because every day I'm working to the bone. But I don't see the results. Where's the profit? And that's what business is. It's profit. So I had to go back to the lotto machine. Now I must look like, okay, what's going on? And then I realized that in business, there's also another lotto machine, ne? And that lotto machine is called SARS. Now, if you don't know SARS, you will know SARS. When you play lotto, you will know SARS. That is just the outcome. That is the name of the game. And now through this growth and through these opportunities, we then now are in places where you actually need your SARS certificate just to even get in the room. Now we're looking at SARS. SARS is saying non-compliant. Now I'm just like, what? What is going on? Now we have to deal with SARS. We have to deal with opening disputes. We have to deal with finding accountants. We have to deal with annual financials. You're there on SARS, you just put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then you see, green light, you are compliant. This time it wasn't working because you can't hide from SARS. All of the information is there. And those are the growing pains of business. Eventually, we got SARS back, we fought the good fight. Now we're green, we crystal clear. We paid what we needed to pay to SARS and vice versa, and had to start bearing in mind that the same way on that lotto machine, when I check out, the numbers must balance, is the same way with SARS. You have to make sure the numbers balance for your business. All right, SARS is sorted. Life is moving again. We are growing. Now we're like, let's expand a bit. Let's get some young black people, let's train them, because we're very passionate about training people. I'm self-taught. Nguleko was also self-taught, and we were able to then get certification from being self-taught and to be credible in order to deliver how we deliver. So I'm finding young people. We met an agency. We're getting learners, and we are placing them. You're thinking, okay, every day you're just going to say, you do this, you do that, you do that. And then at 5, I'm just going to check, make sure, isn't this grand? Hey! When they say more money, more problems. It's more people, more problems. More people is more problems. So we were actually quite fortunate because we would get really good learners, people who are so eager. I love that because, we are eager as black people. We are eager as young people. When we expose ourselves, there's nothing we can't do. There's nothing we can't learn. So we were really getting people who were open to that. Some are young girls. They've never coded before. Some have never worked on laptops before. Some are not even able-bodied, but they are doing what 10 able-bodied people can do. And then we got one rotten potato. That one rotten potato came and changed my life. Because I wasn't really paying attention. I mean, we follow processes. We know what the HR processes are. But umuntu, you talk to each other. You want to find a solution. You don't want... CCMA is not even... something I'm thinking about at the time, yabo? Now this rotten potato sent so many fake doctor's notes, so many. They would doctor the training schedule, the dates. When you ask them for work, they say, I'm at training. You're like, no, send me a training schedule. The dates are no longer hlanganing. But fine, You're like, hey, okay, it's fine. No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Ne? Then the other time they say to us they can't do work because now we're working from home. Ne? And don't think working from home was a choice. We didn't have an office. We didn't have an office. We didn't have a space. We just have laptop and data. We need to deliver to our clients. So we equip them with laptops, we equip them with data, but I'm being told that I can't deliver because the laptop is broken. Fine, we book the laptop in, take it for repairs. It's still in repairs right now. They can't fix it. When I asked what happened to the laptop, they say they don't know. Fine, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We'll give them another laptop. Let's give them another laptop. Let's give them a chance. We want to empower them. This is what we are about. That laptop just came back. The trackpad isn't working. And it's funny because before we had given that laptop to someone else, one of our very first learners who worked with us used that laptop for close to 3 years. And then from her own ability and from her own savings and her own ambition, she bought her own laptop and said, please take your laptop back. I've got my own laptop. I'm setting it up. I'm sorted. Within 2 weeks, that laptop is broken. Now I have another laptop again, needs to get fixed. They can't find the parts. Who be? It's done. 2 laptops down. And eventually we had to now HR is real for me now. Now it's no longer I'm speaking to you. Now it's I have to. Issue first warning. Issue second warning. Issue third warning. And now that person is no longer with us anymore. It's not nice, but it's the unfortunate truth. And it's sad because I don't know if it's his real mom who sent us a message to apologize, to say that this is what happened. But we had given that person so many opportunities to kind of show us, show me something, and got 0. So I realized, okay, I can't be Mother Teresa. I can't save everyone. And I also can't do that for the business because when that person wasn't delivering, that person would go to sleep at night. But for us, it was different. You can't go to sleep at night. You have deliverables to deliver. You have to now take on that added work that was not meant to be for you, and you have to do it on top of the added work that you are still doing. Because remember, I'm still milking myself dry. I'm still blundering all the way today. But there's some light, guys. There's some real light because Saturated has done so much for me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Saturated. I wouldn't have met Dr. Roche, and he wouldn't have mentored me to kind of see what I can be and how I can utilize people to grow the business and delegate and not put so much on my shoulders, And as we evolve and as we are growing, we got more and more opportunities until we eventually traveled. We've traveled Africa. We've been able to work with people outside of South Africa. We've traveled to Namibia. We've traveled to Botswana. And we were also fortunate enough to travel to Russia. Like, I know, right? The war, there was nothing in Russia. It was amazing because there's no black people in Russia. So everywhere you go, people are taking videos of you are just there like, yes, what's your name? Beyonce. Beyonce is my name, They don't know, they don't understand, it's a different culture, it's a different world. But having those opportunities and being with other people who are young, just like me, other people who are trying in different spaces, can actually catapult your journey from someone who is working, packing tomatoes, who was striving to operate the till. And I operated that till. And I moved to operating the lotto machine, to working in the tavern and selling hair and selling herbs and upskilling and being in the ICT space where 80% of the time I'm the only woman in the room. But it's changing, things are changing. Like women are doing amazing things. People are doing great things for women in the ICT space. So that's truly incredible. It's changing so much. But what I wanted everybody to kind of take away from all of these stories, because I have stories for days, like I could go on up until tomorrow, and you'll ask yourself, how, Mamelo, why are you still doing this? Why? And we are taught from a young age, when you fall, you get back up. When you start walking, you crawl, you'll fall, but you get back up. When you ride your bicycle, you're gonna fall and you're gonna get back up. Nobody falls and just stays on the ground and life happens. Like, how, you know? So that's what I adopted. And I would always ask myself, I'm still asking myself, why are we so afraid to fail? Why is it a blunder? You know, failure is your friend, because failure is going to teach you that when you fall, the ground is like this, the texture is like this, you're going to bleed like this, you're going to hurt like this. So next time, do better. And in all of this, I got to actually come to this formula of my life, which is be plus do equals success. So if I can just be the best version of myself, try to be a better human each and every day, do what I'm passionate in, which is technology, do what I'm passionate in, which is business, do what I'm passionate in, which is skills transfer and development, I will actually be successful. Because I wouldn't have ended up, I've never dreamt about going to Russia ever. Like Ukraine, the war, no, no, it's not even a thought. But I was there, and I realized that sometimes the world isn't what we think we are. People are telling us, but we actually need to expose ourselves and take those opportunities. And that's the same with business. There will be blunders. Don't even get it twisted. Like the success stories, they are there because I exist. But I exist because of all of those blunders. So I want everybody to kind of take that in terms of the financial losses that we took, the stress, the time that we spent on other people and on ourselves to grow as a business, and also that stamina that you get from knowing that every day, if I keep on doing, I'll end up where I'm supposed to be. Is that blunder your way through life. It doesn't matter. Blunder. Roll, fall, cry. Eventually, you are going to get there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's true. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And yeah, let's keep blundering through life. Thanks.
All right. Can we give a round of applause, guys? So they say you're not truly an entrepreneur until you fire someone. All right? Right? So, I mean, here's this bugger who's not working. They're like, sick note to say what you want to write. This one, huh? How do you deal with that? I mean, emotionally, what do you go through when you have this guy, poor performance, banking work, and you can see raw shasha? How emotionally, how do you deal with it?
It was hard, you know, it was very, very hard because you kind of instill that discipline to push yourself every day, and now you expect other people to do the same because that's who you are. And I realized that that's not always going to be the case. So luckily, I have a business partner who's a lot more balanced than me, you know. So he really helped to kind of balance me out in the situation. No, I couldn't tetisa. I wasn't tetising. No, I was ready. Okay. But in this moment, I couldn't. You know, it didn't make sense. And I also believed in him so much. And I knew that if he had pushed himself, the potential was going to be amazing. But unfortunately, we let it slide for too long. And we handled it in the best way possible, thanks to like these opportunities, programs, networking, meeting people who can explain to you how real business processes work. But it was really irritating, but it's okay, it's life, you know. If life is like that.
So one of our discussions during the mentorship sessions was building systems and not do everything, all right? How difficult, because your business is your baby. Like, this is my baby. And the trap that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into is, you know, if you want something done perfect, you do it yourself. You can't trust other people with doing this. So as a result, you end up doing everything, right? Which then stretches you too thin. You are always working. Physically, you are tired. Emotionally, you are tired. How easy or how difficult was it for you to let go? To sort of say, this is what needs to be done. You go, you do it, and you walk away. And the temptation to look back and check, how easy or how difficult was it to let go?
I know. It was extremely hard. Like, it was very, very difficult. You would tell me a lot of times, like, no, Mamelo, stop it. You know, let go. Delegate something to someone. And I would start recording videos and showing someone, okay, do this, do that, do that. Then I started to see that, okay, they're not asking me questions and the job is done. I'm not stressing anymore. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not on my laptop, you know. So it was a growing pain. It was really hard, but it was worth it because I'm not going to be here forever. And I have to at least come to terms with that so that I can also grow, to not limit myself to say, how would I have gone to Russia if I knew that the business still had deliverables? And luckily, when you were challenging me to do that, it was during the period where we were going to leave the country for a long time. And we had to establish those processes and test them, see what's working, test them, fail, try again, test them, fail. Not everybody's the same. Try different methods, and it worked. It worked.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give Beyonce a round of applause? Right. Are we good? All right. The next speaker, guys, if you have questions, she's going to be here. We're going to try. If we have enough time at the end, we might have a panel discussion with all the speakers. But for now, if we can't, because we're chasing 2 o'clock, load shedding, so we need to be done with all the speakers. So the next speaker is, you know, a definition of a hustler. Like, this guy is everywhere, on social media, everywhere. Like, he's pushing his product. When I saw him, I'm like, what is this young boy trying to do, right? But he's pushing his product. His product is now into Pick and Pay, if I'm not mistaken, I'll tell you, you know. And he's very energetic.
It's good, man.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when I listen to his story, because what usually happens is we curate these talks. We don't just come, speak, yay. No. We sit down, we curate your talk. So when I was listening to his story, I'm like, this is a storyteller of note, right? Not that the others were not storytelling, but he's also going to take us deeper. Can we welcome Lebohang Yandeni?
Thank you so much. Live your dream while time is still by your side. You've got nothing to lose except the fear of the unknown. Life is bitter, your coffee shouldn't be. So I'll just put this product over here so that you guys can see it while I still eat coffee. So this is me growing up with my grandmother from a very small township in Everton in the Val Triangle. Yeah. So my grandmother loved coffee so much, and during the course of the day, she would ask me to prepare her a cup of coffee. And we were just living in a 4-room. Sometimes I go visit my mom, sometimes I'm with her, sometimes I'm with my mom. And during the course of the day, I'm playing with other kids. She calls me to prepare her a cup of coffee. And manje, abokoko, they like tea, but this one loved coffee. So interesting. So I then fell in love with the love for coffee. Can I please give someone my phone? I think it's going to interrupt. Sorry about that. Thank you. So during the course of the day, she would ask me to prepare a cup of coffee, and I'll do that. And I fell in love with coffee. And when I was doing my grade 11, I came across a teacher by the name of Tandimgo Mezul. She was a coffee lover, like a coffee addict. And during lunchtime, I would sit with her and have coffee with her. And during class time, she would beat the hell out of me. And then she would tell me, "Oh, sharp." I get what? Yes, man. And she would beat me. And during lunchtime, we are friends. We are chilling in her office. We're drinking coffee. I'm making her a cup of coffee. And I'll be telling her my stories about how I went to Mozambique without a passport. So one would ask why. So my dad is from Mozambique. my mom is from here, and they met way back then. They produced a handsome boy by the name of Lebohang, and here I am, just like you. So I would go that side to visit him, and basically the reason why I went that side, even after he separated with my mom, it's because I would get sick. And my grandfather was a traditional healer, and he told my dad that there's a guy that you left that side, there's a child that you need to go and fetch him and come and introduce him here in Mozambique so that he's born, you know, because he's gonna die. So perhaps maybe I was supposed to die. And my dad then later came around searching for us, and he found us in Everton. He spoke to my mom. I don't know why these guys didn't prepare a passport for me, but they just chose not to. Then I went to Mozambique without a passport, and it was hell. So this teacher of mine liked these stories. I remember one day I was in a police van at some point, and these taxi drivers told me that, dog, you know, when they ask you if you went to Mozambique, just say, no, you didn't. Your father is the owner of this taxi, and we picked you up at some local filling station in Mpumalanga. Ne? And I'll be like, yeah, I'll tell the police that, sure, I'll do that. And these guys are like, okay, cool. Then we drove. Then here's a roadblock, got stopped. And this policeman, now I'm in South Africa, right? I was coming from Mozambique. Well, it's easy, basically, to go inside Mozambique, but coming out to this side, it's really difficult. Mind you, I had to cross over the National Kruger Park, coming this side. And it was so traumatizing. I actually had like scars in my hand. I had touched a tree, and it had these things were itching and all that. So it was miserable. But now I'm fine. I'm in South Africa. I'm happy. I'm at home. I'm going to be in Joburg in the next coming few hours. But here's a roadblock. We got stuck. And this police guy said, just open the door. And he said, if you know that you don't have a passport, please get out of the taxi. Then I Matula a little bit. I was like, I'm not going to say I don't have. What if it gets bad? Then he's like, Mom, where's your passport? And this lady says, here it is. Then he was like, for the baby? Then he was like, and a birth certificate. So that means he has a birth certificate. Then the policeman says, no, I don't want a birth certificate. I want a passport. Then this lady says, no, kanganayo. And that means the child doesn't have the passport. Then he said, go to the van. Then he started picking people to go outside, and I'm sitting there at the back, waiting for him to point out at me, but he didn't. He just said, if you know, I don't want to check because you guys are wasting my time. So we got out of the taxi, we went inside the police van, we sat in there. So my dad had gave me 600 rands, and during the festive season, I told him that I don't have like school shoes, I don't have clothes, I need this, I need that. So this guy, he gave me that 600 in rands, so that means it's prepared. So I'm like, no, I have money, what. So my uncle, when we caught that taxi, he had told me to give him the money that my dad gave me, so which was 400 rands, and we paid the taxi with. So I'm left with 200 rands. And now I'm caught up in a police van. I need to bribe the man. I'm very young at the time, called Training Baba. So I'm there inside the police van, chilling, waiting for this guy. So when he comes, like, give me Shavani cold drink. So he actually said Shavani refresco. So that means buy cold drink. Then he said, Lase munye. So that means I wanted 100 rands. It's each person. So we had to give him $100 each. And when he said 100 rands, these people that I was with inside the van, they were like, no, we can't afford that, is a lot. And he's like, okay, right, it's fine. He closed the door, quickly went inside the car, starts the car. Oh, like it's a collision inside the van at the back there. We are bumping into each other. Then we're like, hey, sorry. You know, then he stops the van. Then when he comes, he's like, I'm not here to play. Then now I saw it's serious. So they gave him $100. As you give him, you leave the van. As you give him, you leave the van. Then I'm left there inside the van alone. Now I'm coming up with my stories. I want to bribe the man in a very unique, beautiful way and tell him that I didn't cross the border. I'm a South African. And this is a South African, right? And I was like, okay, show me your ID, then I'll leave you. And this taxi driver is not even there for me. He's just standing there looking at me. And I'm doing all these things alone. And this guy, we paid him so that he makes sure that I get home safe. I'm very young. I'm in grade 11. And I'm sitting there inside the van. I'm like, this one I'm gonna tell him. Vele. So okay, cool. I told him. Then he's like, okay, give me the ID. This taxi driver is like, hey dog, we need to go, Baba. We need to go. Time is money. Then I forgot my ID at home because I was excited that I'm going to see my dad. Actually, when I left home, I left everything. I just took my clothes and my bag and I left. I met my uncle. I found myself in Mos. Now I'm coming back. I need to produce an ID. Then I remember, oh shucks, I left my ID at home. I'm like, no, then he's like, no, you're full of jokes, bro. 100 rands. And I'm carrying 100 rand. Now I'm left with 100 rands. Cool. I'm not eating the whole trip. Since I caught a taxi at like 7 o'clock yesterday, now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to get here around like 6 in the morning. And I haven't ate. So, got in Joburg. I'm hungry. There's a lady selling fat cakes. Now I'm buying some fat cakes and coffee because I like coffee. And now I went back home. I have like, it was like when I got home, my mom was so excited. Yeah, Leboham Tanami, you are back. I'm going to buy. Okay, so what did your dad give you? How much did he give you? And all that. I'm like, ish. I have like change, you know. Yeah, like 50-something rands because I had to take a taxi from Joburg and buy fat cakes and coffee all the way to Val. Now I have nothing. And my mom was so furious. She actually wanted to beat me. Like, she was, because she couldn't understand why didn't my father give me money to buy school stuff, you know, and I don't have them. And I went there December. It was like I'm just from here, a pen, you know, local. But I had crossed the country without a passport, guys. Do you understand? So cool. So these are stories that I would narrate to my teacher during our break in high school as we're drinking coffee. And the love for coffee actually grew even beyond that because she was teaching also geography and she was passionate about traveling, weathering, how do people experience certain things in other countries. So these are the things that I would tell her. And my grandfather was married to 2 wives and he had like 20-something kids. Yeah, you know, so she was always fascinated about all these stories. And after my matric, I knew that I wanted to start something because I actually attended my first business seminar when I was doing grade 11. And it was a shock to the whole school. Dr. Richie had visited our school, gave him motivation. Then he was selling a ticket for 200 bucks. I actually hustled for that 200 rands from selling sweets in high school and choc chips, some fruit plus. I was selling those and washing my teacher's cars, and I would get the money. So that lady, that teacher, Mrs. Ngomezulu, she would fund all my educational trips. She paid for my matric dances, outfits, and everything. You know, she was like a mom to me. And that love, that passion, I had to do something with coffee just to honor her and my grandmother. So 2017 actually, I dropped out from Flavius Mareka. I had enrolled for engineering, and mind you, I didn't even like study physics in high school. But I knew that I needed to study something that relates to business-wise, so that I can be able to start my own thing. Then I came across a poster from VUT, Sasol Entrepreneurship Program. Then that's when I said, I'm dropping out this one. I'm going to go and focus on the entrepreneurship side of things. Then I enrolled, got accepted, graduated. Then I had to start something. But one of the rules of the course was that after completion of the course, you need to start something, you know, a business, and go there and pitch to the guys so that you possibly can get funding. But I didn't have any business idea. I just knew that I wanted to start a coffee brand, and it required a lot of capital to start. And I started my Startup Entrepreneurship Academy, particularly to try and facilitate these enterprise development workshops to young people in the communities. And this is exactly what VUT was doing. But I was like, I want to live a life of change and difference. Let me take this thing and go and facilitate it to the guys in my community. We did that for a year. We hosted a couple of seminars. We hosted like big names and other celebrities so that they can inspire other people how it is to start and what are the things that you're going to encounter while you're starting. So we'd ask them, was it easy to start? And we'd start answering that question with the notion of, or the aim of trying to inspire other people to start, but know that it's not going to be easy, but eventually you'll be prominent and you'll be celebrated. Then we hosted those for a couple of times. We hosted those seminars, and I came across a post on Facebook by Beth Malachi. She used to be a coordinator of Startup Grind Johannesburg. And you know, like I said, I've been passionate about business, so I started following everyone in business, even Dr. Roche. The first time I met him, I was at a seminar, and he was facilitating a workshop there. So I've been that guy, you know, and cool. So the poster about she was helping people who want to start their own coffee brands with that, and I was like, I'm so interested in this. I like coffee. Why can't I turn my passion into something that can be profitable later on? You know. Then I inquired, but the costs were so extreme. You know, and plus it was coffee beans. They had to source them somewhere so that it can get to this side and roast them for you and do all that. But I was passionate about instant coffee, what I used to drink each and every day with my grandmother. You know, while I was sitting down with her, preparing her that cup with my teacher, telling her those stories while we're sitting down, enjoying life during my high school days. So I then started and applying for school, university likewise, because I realized that this business is going to cost me a lot of money and it requires a lot of capital. Then I enrolled at UJ. I did language practice. So I was listening to someone, because I've been a public speaker for some time, and I was listening to this guy. He was on Real Talk with Anele, and they asked him, what did you study? Then he was like, I studied language practice. And I was so fascinated. I said, oh, so the people that study language practice, they speak like this. You know, I'm coming from a township whereby we used to be taught English in Sesotho. That when they tell you, take this thing and put it there, then they translate it. And I was like, I need to improve myself as a speaker. This is the right course for me to study. Then I went, enrolled. First semester I was doing very well. You know, I was doing very well. And eventually, not even before the first semester finishes, like maybe 3 months, trimester, I was doing quite well, distinctions here and there. And one day I just woke up to like this module, linguistics is scientific based, and they teach about the relationship of the brain and the language and all those things. So all those things were not fascinating me, you know. And at that time, I had already got like my first gig in acting. I got my first game store gig as an actor, and they paid me like 25,000 rands. And I'm still in high school, in university. And sometimes even when I walk through the corridors, I get people saying, oh, dog, I know you from an advert. Are you that guy? And I'm like, dog, yeah, I am. I'm that guy. So I've been that guy. So it was fascinating. I have money. I'm studying something that I'm not passionate about. And I was like, you know what? I'm focusing on my acting journey. Then I started focusing on acting. Obviously, I'm going to fail, right? One day I got a booking on the day of my exam, and I sacrificed going to write an exam for a gig. So I basically went and shot an ad for iStore and Vodacom, and I was happy. You know, I was doing something that I love. I'm one person. If something doesn't make me happy, I drop it out. Then I then obviously failed, and I got an exclusion. Somehow I was able to appeal, and somehow I was welcomed back. Then eventually same thing repeated itself. I got another gig, focused on the gig, got the money. I'm the happiest man in campus. Then obviously I'm gonna fail. December, failed. January I'm trying to apply for something else, you know, and the school said no, we can't take you back. Now it's 2020, we can't take you back. And I had to see what I can do. Got a job at VOW FM as a content creator, content producer. People that I produced for are now at, what's the name of this lady? She's now with Metro FM, and Nkosi Mpile, Nkosi Mnisi is now with Power FM. I used to produce for them, and they're doing quite well in the space. Then Voice of Vet said, guys, now you're gonna start volunteering because COVID had hit us. Then I started volunteering, but I had to do something. You know, I needed to find something else that can keep me in Joburg. So I found a job at Skinny's Boo store. I don't know if you guys know Skinny's Boo. Got a job there. I was selling socks. Got promoted. I was in sales, in sales and marketing, handling the store very well, communicating with customers each and every day. So I'm doing my work at VOW FM. I'm also working at Skinny's Boo store. I'm meeting a lot of different people. I'm producing a lot of shows. Sometimes my station manager would ask me to produce a show for like 7 a.m. in the morning. It's breakfast. And my show was only afternoon. So I would have to produce those 2 shows in just a single night. and in the morning at 7 o'clock I need to be at work at Skinny's store. So I was coping, you know, I was just that junkie and doing quite well. Then obviously I met this guy, Uvusi. He came to visit the store and he told me that he was in, so obviously you're gonna have that conversation with the customer, right? And we had a conversation and he then mentioned that he's into coffee. He's a barista. He works for a coffee company. And since that day, we had that coffee conversation. I asked him to connect me with those guys. Then he connected me. Then that dream that I had years back then, it resurrected again. And this time around, I told myself that I'm not going to look back. I'm going to focus on this and build it and make sure that it works out. And Skinny's store shuts down due to COVID. The pandemic was harsh on us. And Spoo announces that. And I'm like, I have savings, you know, that I was still saving while I was still working. And now I'm renting a place in Joburg. So the options were either I go back to Val at home and I focus on establishing my brand, or I hustle to find another job. Obviously, I went back home. I did my own research on coffee because I found that those guys roast beans, not instant coffee. But I was passionate about instant coffee. What's something that anyone can consume anywhere at any time. Then I'm there in Val doing my research. I came across an Alexandria. He's a very big guy in the coffee industry. I sent him a text and he actually replied me an email. He said I must come and see him in Pakest, Melrose Arch. And I went there, very fascinating old man. We sat there, he gave me guidance here and there, here and there. Then he plugged me to someone who roasts coffee in Cape Town. And I'm meeting all these guys that are big in the industry and I don't even have like money that is enough, that is sufficient. And obviously they're gonna tell you to go and meet those guys. Obviously you're gonna send them an email, they're gonna invite you. Obviously you want to give them a blend that's yours specifically. So you'll have to go there and mix all those ingredients with them, but I don't have that money. And I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure that I do this. Then there's this beautiful lady, her name is Sanet. She runs a marketing company in Sandton. And when I won the Young Community Shapers in 2016, she was the director of that, the whole competition. So I approached them and I asked them to design this beautiful artwork for me, for my product packaging. So all the dots were connecting. I knew Sanet, I know this guy in Melrose Arch, the roaster is in Cape Town. I sent them an email, we connected. Then eventually through the assistance of Sanet, plus my savings that I didn't use all of them to do research, I took a bus and I went to Cape Town for the first time to visit the factory. Sat there with these guys, I told them the blend that I wanted, a blend that is well balanced, a blend that anyone can enjoy at any time, anywhere, which is instant. A blend that is less bitter because life is already bitter. Then coffee brand. The first time I had this package in my hand as a complete product, I was so fascinated. I couldn't believe that I managed to pull this up through all the challenges and all the struggles that I encountered. Through begging other people for assistance, they turn you down. But obviously, there's going to be those 2-3 people that are going to be there for you. Then eventually, I had it, and I wanted to push it so bad that I'm able to raise money. I took, at 5 a.m. in the morning, a trolley. I would sell instant coffee by the streets. It's my coffee. So you obviously know Eval. Remember, I used to appear on TV, right? I was staying in Joburg. So basically, so things are tea, strategy. So people would like those talks, kind of talks like, you know, and they don't understand this guy is actually selling his own coffee brand, you know. So I would go 5 a.m. It's cold, it's winter, and this thing, it pisses me off. But each and every day, I would go on the streets. It's cold, my hands. Guys, do you understand? I'm there, taxi ranks. Then eventually I was able to rent out a space inside a mall. We did quite well there because initially we wanted to make people taste our coffee by them tasting it, but they also supporting us. And we're able to build the brand even further. You understand? Then there's a guy that I know, his name is Itumile. He also has a coffee shop in Val, Shape Cafe. And he was like, my dude, I see you're trying very hard, you know. Let me plug you an opportunity at Newtown Junction Mall. There's a studio there, and I'm leaving the studio, but before they find someone else, I'd like to recommend you so that you can occupy the spot. Guys, I was excited. Thinking about the studio, did my own research, then I saw, oh, so here, Zagala with DJ Fresh, with DJ Spoo, I will make G, they record their podcasts here. Everyone that you can think of who has a podcast, most of them, they started there if they're still not there. Then I was like, this is the right way for me to be able to push my brand and establish my brand to a new market, to get more support. At least I'm going to get to have like DJ's Boo posing with my coffee, or so-and-so posing with my coffee. But also, way back then, I used to sell more fire with DJ's Boo also. So I was like, okay, this is going to be another opportunity for me to plug, to connect with the great men, to get that advices and wisdom and push my brand, and with other celebrities that come there. But when I got there, it was a completely different story. Got there, we set up that coffee shop. I rent out a coffee machine, put it there, 2.5 per month. Obviously, there's costs, cups, double cups, walls, sugars, everything that you can think of that makes coffee, refrigerators and all that. So some of the things Itumeleng had left them behind for me to use until I'm sustainable and I can buy them. But some I had to obviously buy them or rent them out. So here I am, pushing this coffee shop at the studios in Newtown, and I'm meeting these celebrities, right? They are coming there each and every day. There's a new face, but obviously they're in a rush, and you can't be always asking people to take pictures with them with your product and all that, you know. But that's the perception that I had. Now I'm focusing on trying to make sure that the coffee shop works, and I have like a sufficient menu. People are receiving us the way we perceived them to receive us. I neglected my brand, Labs Cafe, what I wanted to start a few years ago, how it actually came to become this at that time, but I neglected it and I focused on running a coffee shop. And I ran that coffee shop, not making profit, running at a loss each and every day. Remember, I'm staying in Val. Now I'm traveling to this side each and every day, you know, and I'm there from like 8 o'clock up until 6 when the studios close down. I don't have time to focus on developing this even further. I'm focusing on the menu, not the product, not the brand. And someone would say, but it's the same business, you know, it's coffee. They all coffee, you're doing coffee. But there's a difference between a coffee brand and a coffee shop, you know. And I would like to say this, when someone mentions Starbucks to you, what comes into your mind? A coffee shop, maybe somewhere in Senton, you're sitting there enjoying your frappe. But when someone mentions Jacobs to you, what comes into your mind? You see yourself in ShopRite, walking in there, taking that jar, going with it at home, preparing the very same coffee for your grandmother. So I was there trying to build the menu, the frappes, and someone would come, they buy a cappuccino, and you're trying to explain, yeah, but I also have instant. And like, no, please, can I have my cappuccino? Mini rush. You understand? Because people that visit coffee shops, they know what they're looking for. They have their own stress. The person just wants coffee and they just want to leave. Whether it's instant, futhi instant, abantu bathanda ama coffee shop abayithandi. Ithandwa yithi le. So I'm there trying to push. Then the studios lost their sponsorship, and they told me that I needed to be there to occupy the spot. They'll get the new sponsor. So now I'm there operating the cafe. There's no Oksana traffic of people, like a lot of people that would come as before, because now it's closed. They're also having their own challenges. We only open once a week, and we've been doing that for like from January this year up until August. Same thing. My brand, at that time, January, when they announced the shutdown, I had to try and see what I can do, right? Then obviously, somehow it was a wake-up call for me, and I was able to remember, oh, I have a coffee brand. I can actually push this. Because you know what I would do? I would push the instant coffee. Someone would buy in bulk. Ne? I remember we had like a client, NUMSA. They bought like 30 bags for their executives. And I would hustle for such things, and I would get them. They bought 30 bags, but obviously that money, I would take it and inject it inside a coffee shop, which is not generating any income that is sustainable. So I would get such clients, NUMSA, Scandal, ETV, like so many people. I would go out there and hustle, but I was not getting enough time to focus on this. Instead, I would take that money and try to pump it inside a coffee shop, which was not working. Because another reason why I would pump it, it's because these guys where I had rented a coffee machine from, they would call me and tell me that they're going to come and repossess the coffee machine. Obviously, I just close the deal with maybe this other company, then I take that money quickly, I pay it that side so that they don't come and take the coffee machine, so that the space is convenient for everyone each and every time. And at least when they get the new sponsorship, I'm going to be there also, and I'm going to be able to generate that income, which I'm not even sure about at that time. So when these guys finally got a new sponsorship, now they told me that, bruh, we need you to exit the studios. We're going to take the studio and turn it into an in-house brand. Now I have like a debt, 20,000 rands, debt, I'm owing this person that much. From the coffee machine alone, I had like 20K debt that was accumulating interest over the period of months that I was not paying for it, and other things, that grinders and all these other things. So now I'm being told to evacuate the space because they want to revamp the coffee shop and babies in Kamale studio. Obviously, I had to leave. And just to take you back a little bit, the time they announced the shutdown, I started focusing on my brand. I was able to close a deal with Pick n Pay, Olas Market in Buphelong, Vanderbilt Park. And throughout the way, I went back into focusing on building and establishing that coffee shop. So the moral of the story here is that you need to be intentional about your decision making. I was making decisions based on how I'm feeling right now, based on what is happening right now, the current event, and I would exactly do or make that decision, not being intentional, or rather assuming that things are going to be okay. Imagine if I had evacuated the studios January when they announced that they lost their sponsorship and I tried to focus on building my brand. It would have been far. Because since they did that, I closed down Pick n Pay. I also closed down Macro, actually like 3 weeks ago. So now our coffee is available on Macro Marketplace and on Pick n Pay, and we're still growing and making sure that it becomes a success. So with that being said, I tried to summarize everything for you guys quickly so that you get what my blunder is. But thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. Remember, life is bitter, your coffee shouldn't be.
All right. Life is bitter, your coffee shouldn't be. So just one question. So basically what you're saying is there's a difference between running your brand,
Sure.
the coffee brand, and running a coffee shop.
Sure.
Right? And I mean, people can easily make that mistake of saying it's the same.
Yeah.
But what happened to your brand when you were running the coffee shop? Was it moving? Were people coming to buy it? Or was it just a, by the way, I also have this?
Yeah, it was, honestly speaking, it was not moving. It was just stagnant. I mean, like, it's like an author who writes a book and they want to open a bookstore, trying to distribute a book through a bookstore, you know. But remember, there's like 10 authors also that are already inside that bookstore. And manje, people have like a variety of choices, and possibility of that brand dying, that book actually dying is very high, because people would walk in, buy Dr. So-and-so, and eventually leave that one alone. And remember, this bookstore was actually opened by the author of the same book. So I also felt that way. I'm trying to push a coffee brand through a coffee shop. This is a brand. It's a household brand. It's something that you buy in retail and you go and prepare it at home. But someone would argue and say, but at least you have a coffee shop, you can be easily accessible. No, you can't. It's impossible, you know, because people who come to the coffee shop, they just come there and buy whatever that they want. When you try to tell them about your brand, it's another thing. And possibility of them having the money to buy it at that time, they just come there with $30 to buy cappuccino and go. And possibility of them coming back for instant coffee, it's very low. So the brand was not moving. We were not doing very well. We actually had like an online store this I launched after the shutdown of after I was told to evacuate the space, and we launched the online store. Oh, basically, like the online store, I launched it before I was told to evacuate or before they lost their sponsorship. And we were doing quite well. But after we announced that we are opening a coffee shop, we started seeing a decline in sales because people were now starting to perceive us as a coffee shop. And maybe someone stays in Cape Town and they like, I'll go to Gauteng, I'll go and pass by this guy's cafe at that time whenever I'm that side. But when we're still actively pushing the brand as it is, people were actually supporting us through the online store. Actually, in Gauteng, we've covered all provinces, delivering coffee all over and making sure that people start their days different. But since we opened now a coffee shop, people are like, maybe I'll just pass by that side. Because now what do you want to do? You want to market the frappes, you want to market the cappuccinos, you want to market the Americanos, all the menus, so that you can show people that it's available at your store. But you neglect this one, what you are passionate about. And what I would go through is stress and stress and stress, because I was trying to keep this place, but I'm neglecting what I'm really passionate about. Remember how I started this? It's an inspiration that I got while I was still a kid, staying with my grandmom, growing up to bonding with my teacher. And the first time I delivered my teacher this beautiful product, she was so excited, she was happy, she shed a tear, and I was so emotional also, and I was like, okay, cool, now we've achieved something. So if you can't live to that, then you encounter so many difficulties.
So I'm Jalen.
Sure.
So you're sitting with your ma'am during lunch, you are having a nice time, chatting. After lunch, you are shy.
After lunch, I'm shy.
Like,
yeah.
how does that work?
For me, sometimes I would do some things in class and she would tell us that I'm going to beat you guys. And at the back of my mind, I'm like, she's not going to beat me, you know. Yo, magafika give me ngathi because she would actually tell me that I'm going to beat you. I need to, my child. And I'm like, yes, man. So those are some of the things that I found very weird. But I then later grew up to understand that she loves me and she knows, you could say. Because you know what would happen? It would be like a period before lunchtime, and I would make like a silly mistake and she would beat me. But as other kids exit the door of the class, I know I'm going to go to her office. And it's normal, It's like, I even forgot that she beat me. We chill there, we have coffee. She brings 2 lunch boxes, one for me, one for her. And we're just sitting there. I'm eating pap, steak, sometimes rice. Some kids are just there, but totally feeding scheme. But all because of her. She admired me. She loved me. I was working hard. And I'm not saying I didn't go on that route to the feeding schemes and stuff. What I'm just trying to say is that I was having a nice time with her and drinking coffee, and not all the kids were. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Can we give Libs?
Thank you.
Round of applause. Awesome.
Ooh.
All right. I believe I'm giving away 3 coffees, right?
Oh, thanks.
There's
I just
level.
wanted to switch it off.
All right. Where are my names, guys? Somebody took my names. Where are my names? All right. So the rules are simple, very simple. Your name, your name should be in here. You should be subscribed to my biggest blunders. The rules haven't changed. No, we'll do that later. So I need a coffee. We are giving away coffee. Can I have 3 of those? Right. Okay. So guys, we are chasing time. I'm not so sure if we'll make it for 2, but we're trying to get to 2. So if you have any questions for Lebo, for Mamelo, for Ngosi, please guys, they are here, ask them during the intervals, right? So, all right. So the first coffee, remember guys, I need proof that you have subscribed. No proof, no coffee. Life is too bitter, guys. All right, Refile Motlabi. Oh yeah, There she is. Hey. What evidence? Right. Okay. Awesome. I'm an auditor by profession, guys. I'm an auditor by profession. All right. The second eco fee goes to Wendy Pasha. Funufagazi. Funukbona phela. Bongs, please get mine. Thank you. And the last eco fee goes to Sibusiso Ngema. Sibusiso. All right. Awesome. Come, Spoo. He will check it. Come. Yeah, if it's not there, it's a return.
Okay.
Awesome. There we go.
I used to train speakers.
All right, so we still have more prizes to give. So yeah, yes.
Put it right.
No. That will say at the end. Yeah. I'm chasing time, guys. 2 o'clock, no shading. I still have 2 speakers to go through.
All right, perfect. Check if it's on.
Is it 4? So I can relax.
But after it's done,
Hi, Bo.
check if it's on.
Wow, Matamin.
I'm leaving these here.
All right.
Yeah, just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
All right. The next speaker.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
What is it? Is it 2 or is it 4?
2, 1, 5.
It's
1,
4 o'clock.
1,
I
2.
mean, I believe you.
1, 2, 1, 2.
If I don't believe in Wang Sha,
I don't know. 1, 2.
I got
1, 2, 1, 2.
4. How's it?
That sounds like it's good.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. I think.
Are we ready?
Right.
Are you sure? Okay. The next speaker, all the way from the first. You know, I forgot to say something. You know, I've got these 2 speakers, Mamelo and Lebs, and they are from Everton, right? Everton and the Val area. And there's this thing about people from the Val, and I even said it to them. There's this thing about the people from the Val. And I don't know if you have picked it up. I've picked it up. And every time, since I've picked it up, it's always stands, and even Aubrey's from the Val, right? And they talk with so I don't know if is it intentional or is it a fashion thing, right? But the R is a big challenge. Or is it Soto? Is it the how? The R is a oh my! I thought it's a handicap. It's a far thing, all the way from Velcom and Gauteng, you know, and made his blunders in Gauteng. And the scars are still fresh, you know, and I'm like, yeah, while the scars are still fresh, come and share them with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Boginko Sidiou.
Dumelang. Retelegay. La utla ke Ariel. So my name is Bonginkosi. I am from a small town in the Free State called Velkom. My father was actually born here in Alex. And he grew up in Velkom. And then, of course, my grandmother died when my father was about 10 years old. So he grew up as an orphan. And that sort of taught him to be an independent thinker. And that led him to business. Growing up, we owned construction companies. We were some of the biggest construction people in the Free State province at the time. Unfortunately, that led my father to bankruptcy because he was too dependent on politicians and people of the like. So after some time, that taught me personally to think outside the box and to think about going into business completely outside of depending on any single person individual. So that led me to going to university, studied economics at the University of the Free State, and eventually ended up working in venture capital at a company called Impact Investment Management. Unfortunately, I didn't last too long there. I raised 75% of the assets under management. Mangala, it's about corporate. Na le politics. So very quickly, that forced me to resign. I realized really quickly that I am not a good fit for the corporate world in its in its normal sense. That led me to starting a company that was called Leofin. My first mistake was naming it in my surname, after my surname. And that company was specifically founded to assist people who are in property investors, developers, and the like, in the structuring of their assets so that their tax is as low as possible. And that when they pass away, all their assets can go to the next generation, right? Without having to, and reducing the, what we call death tax, right? So I founded this company, partnered up with some of the biggest law firms in Africa, right? But the problem is with working with a big law firm is that the volume of business that you bring is just too small, right? So, for example, we would meet up with a client, right? I remember we met up with a client. This client loved our product. When we sat with them, we proposed how they can structure their assets and so forth. And the lawyer sat there with me and said, you know what? We can produce this in 5 days. Oh, fantastic. 3 months later, it still wasn't there. 3 months later, this was a big problem. We really quickly also understood when we got our first client that even the fees that they were charging were very different from our initial agreement. Our initial agreement was you're going to charge 12,000 for every client you bring, and of course, depending on the scope of work, we can increase it accordingly. The moment money came in, all of a sudden it's 20,000, and we're charging the client 25. So this person wanted to take as much as 90% of all the company's revenue. I mean, that is ridiculous. So that's what we went through. And by going through this process and iterating through the different products as we went by, we realized really quickly that cash flow started becoming a problem because we were literally working for these lawyers. And so we then decided to pivot from what I call asset structuring to renewable energy finance. And that was even worse. It was way worse. We moved from at least a month making about 2 contracts, getting about 2 contracts a month to none, forcing us to actually start spending a lot more money on our employees while they're bringing no revenue in. We moved from 6 employees when we moved from 0 to 6, and then eventually we moved to nothing, where I'm alone in the company today. It was rough. It was rough. And I learned one of the things I learned from this that's so fundamental is that when you're going into business, it's very important to research beforehand, because you'll think that based on your idea that your pricing will be correct and the processes that you're going to bring in and your costs will be fine. You create your models and so forth, but this is all from imagination until you go into the market and you discover that, oh my goodness, the market does not like you. The market, they say the market is not fair. No, the market is extremely fair, and the way the market works is that it's extremely brutal too. And it was so brutal that we realized really quickly that a lot of our customers would see our product, study it. Oh, wow, this is wonderful. And then go to a lawyer themselves, completely outside of us. Very quickly, even my business partner started resigning. And well, my name is on the door. I was the one who was left, And yeah, this was a journey that to this day I'll never forget. Even as we're going into a new kind of business today where we are actually assessing what we call carbon credits, etc., 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 we realize really quickly that, get yourself enshrined and ingrained within your customer and make sure that your customer and yourself are of the same blood. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yes, bombs. So the money's not coming in.
Yeah.
How are you sustaining yourself?
Okay, so luckily what I did was, my profession is I'm a business developer. So I sell anyway. So I partnered up with a small startup IT company. And I said, let me try to find you guys some deals in the meantime. That pays for my basics, and of course, the most important thing for me is to get our asset structure, our carbon credit business going as quickly as possible. The best part is my partner is back, the one from TEDx. So it's that kind of partnership, dynamic, strong, powerful. And that gives me a lot of confidence because we have the right people in place. And there is nothing in life than having as good as having the right partner in business. Somebody who's good at the things that you're not good at, who's way better than you in that. And you are way better than him in other things. And when you guys partner together, you create magic. Thank
Awesome. So how much did you lose in this whole thing? I mean,
so number one, I took out my entire pension into the business. It was about 300K, right, that I had put in. And then, it was quite significant.
over how long?
It's about 2 years. About a 2-year
So you
period.
lost 300K
Over 2 years, yeah. Over 2 years. Plus, remember, there was a time where there was no revenue coming in, and I was paying employees. And we had an office as well, right, in Randburg. Beautiful office, lovely, but hey, the costs are beautiful too. So, yeah, that's how it was.
So when the account is moving from 300, 200, 150, what's going on in your mind?
Let me get into that. So it got very rough. We paid our creditors, etc., etc. But you always have hope, and that's the thing about business, especially in the services business. You always have hope. No, something's gonna come now. And so what happened was we ran out of money, got rid of my staff, and then now couldn't even pay my own bills. So I was living off donations for a couple of months. And
Donations from who?
family, friends, etc. And it got to a point where I was so stressed that even my legs started getting weak physically. Couldn't even see that much further than my arm. And it turned out that I actually got diagnosed with diabetes during that time as well.
Wow.
So it was a rough period, and the road to recovery is now.
No, let's stay in the rough period.
Yeah.
So when you are there, what are you saying to yourself? I mean, you've got people around you who could have helped you.
Yeah.
Did you reach out, or did you think you can solve this yourself?
So most of the time, there's a reason why you're an entrepreneur. You're a self-starter. And most of the time, because you're a self-starter, you think you can get out of there yourself, right? And so when you're meeting up with people and you're asking for this and that, very quickly your pride starts waning. But the best part about entrepreneurship is that the more you work, the more people you meet, and the more people you meet, the more opportunities come. And so that's how I was actually able to get to the point where, okay, these people can support my basics while I'm working and helping them with this. But the main thing here is to get back to that business. And that's what's been really helpful. The worst period was about when we start, for example, you would get an order from a client to say, okay, you know what, we think we can help you with this. Can you guys please come through? We urgently want this. I did my quotes and so forth, 155,000. But then remember, this lawyer is unreliable. You go to other lawyers, but you don't find those specialists as easily. So that was the difficult part afterwards. And so that's what has made us change the business.
So are you well now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, big time. The most important thing is having faith and, praying and making sure that you can hear the word of God, because it keeps you positive and it grows your faith. Because the most important thing to us as people, especially as people in business, your faith is what you need all the time. Without the faith, you can't work. And so that's what I did.
So, someone is probably in that hole now, in the dark hole. What's your advice to them? What do you say to them? They can't see any positivity.
Yeah.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel except that of an incoming trade.
Yeah.
What do you say to somebody who's now in the dark?
It's funny you asked me that question, because literally after I leave here, I'm going to meet somebody who's in that place. So my client is 300,000 in a week. It's crazy, you understand? And I have to basically give them advice. And I said, the most important thing is to continue to keep taking risks and get out more when it's tough. Go out, organize to meet with the most intimidating person out there, right? The billionaire. Meet with them. Give them your ideas. Sit down with them. Show them where you're going. And most of the time, they know somebody who can potentially help you out of that problem. And listen to Dr. Miles Monroe. Thank you.
All right. Can we give it up for Bongs, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much. All right. Where are the names? I'm giving out prizes. It's Black Friday. All right. So the last speaker for the day, and your deliverance is here, I believe. Is the food here? All right. Awesome. Right. Can I have the names, please? Can we start with Mr. Nkosi's looking nice? You guys look nice, but you even look nicer when you have this. Guys are amazing, creative entrepreneurs. All right. Yo guys, your handwriting at your doctors. Nelisa. Is Nelisa here? Get to Twitter, Baba. Do something. Maybe we can be there. All right. Cash.
Yeah.
Cash.
How do we open? This time.
Oh, cash. Nice. Malala wasala. Opportunities are gone.
Close enough. It's fine.
All right.
You want to test?
Jonathan,
Close enough.
we need proof, Baba. Proof.
It's fine.
Ah.
You will test it, ne? Sharp.
Thank you. All right. And the book, the other book. So this is Prajabu Stone's book, Turning Passion into Profit. Right.
Sorry, let me get something.
Let's see.
Let me take something.
Matepo,
Okay, it's mine. I want to take something in the back.
proof. All right. And then, oh yeah. It's very easy. Just put your name and subscribe. Awesome. All right. And then we have also one of our speakers, Dineo Molokwani. She wrote like an eagle, the ultimate blueprint for meaningful achievement. These speakers, you can find them on my biggest blunders. They've given talks before. Right. Gift? Okay. It's fine. We'll pursue audit. Right? Sharp. All right, guys. All right. The last speaker for the day. All right. Awesome. The last speaker for the day is an entrepreneur in the medical space. He's also a mentee of mine. We're going to have a fireside chat. So basically, we're going to have like an Oprah moment. And hopefully, she's an amazing storyteller as well. Yeah, where is she?
She's hiding here. I'm here.
So let me see. Can we give her a round of applause? Awesome. All right. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Let me help you. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So, as a start, just give us just a brief intro of who SAFEHUB is and where she's from, and then we'll get into your plan.
Cool. Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm also good, but nervous. Bear with me. My name is Sekhamedi Songwane. I am a healthcare entrepreneur. I was born and raised in Hammanskraal.
All right.
I don't know if I should go into
No. Go. Where did you study?
Yeah, so
and- yeah.
I basically spent my primary school, secondary school, high school in Hammanskraal. I was a top learner in my class every year, every school. So you can imagine, right, the pressure that comes with it. You guys just clapped, so it means I still have the pressure. So when I was in high school, doing grade 11, 12, everyone in the community knew I was going to be a doctor, right? I was the child who was playing soccer on my free time. If I'm not playing soccer, I'm either teaching my peers maths and science or English, although my English is still bad. Lewang, we need to talk. Yeah, so I've been that learner who's been fascinated about science and technology and engineering, but mostly science. I mean, I even bent one of my teachers in a science lab in high school. Yeah, so I got to Pretoria after my high school. Everyone knew I was going to be a doctor, so I thought I was going to make it to a medical school, and I didn't get in. You know, the disappointment was real. And that's when my sister was to me, it's fine. So I had a more supportive sister. She said, it's fine, let's go to UNISA and do a BSc in chemistry and physiology. And then when we are done with it, we'll go back to Medunsa, and then you'll probably be doing your second year. You know, we had a proper plan. We stand on the queue at UNISA. But when I'm there, I'm looking at the people who are busy signing in for BSc, and I'm like, nah, this can't be me. I want to go play for Sundowns. I went for the trials for Sundowns. My sister's like, nope, not in my dead body. Out, you're going to study. So I had to leave that passion for soccer, and I had to focus on my studies. So I ended up enrolling for the BSc in chemistry and physiology. And then they took us to University of Potchefstroom because UNISA is an open learning distance institute. They don't have laboratories. So we had to go to University of Northwest. We went there and did our practicals. And when we get there, because you can't start by dissecting a human being, they gave us white rats. And when I was at UNISA, I was a politician. And I studied the student structure there. So the black consciousness of dissecting a white rat and a lot of things that was happening in my mind. And I knew then that this was not for me. And I made peace with it. And I was okay. I felt so much peace in my soul of stopping to please my family. Immediately when I went back after the practicals back to Pretoria, I went to the registration office and I enrolled for chemical engineering. And I was the happiest. I'm still the happiest.
Okay. So you are this engineer, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're supposed to start working and being independent and start to make your own decision. Even on your sister's dead body doesn't matter because now you're independent, right?
Yeah.
So what then happens after?
So on the day that I went to register chemical engineering, the government was giving away bursaries, and they were still recruiting. And then I was there. Fate, fate and grace. And then I got that bursary. I enrolled for chemical engineering. When I'm doing chemical engineering, first year, second year, so if you are in the diploma space, you know that at some point on your second year or third year, you need to go get work experience and then come back, and then finish off your degree and then go back and get the work experience again and then graduate. So when I was doing my second year, I was a hardcore politician. I was that UNISA. I was doing as I please. Yeah, exactly. That was my word. And the fact that I was female, and I am a special aunt, and there was just the category that I had. These guys want to come and force their power on you, and you are bold, So I got mentored by Professor Pakeng. She's now Professor Pakeng. Back then she was Professor Mamuketi Setati. And she pointed me out in a meeting, full of students. And she's like, Wena, I want you in my office on Monday. I want you to come and work for me. And as a student politician, very vital, active on the ground leadership. You're like, yeah, you see what they're doing. Now we are trying to bring change. They want to take us into their offices and stuff. I'm being captured leadership. But it was the best highlight of my life. It was the best thing that happened to my life in my 20s. I'm quite old. So it was the best highlight of my life then, because she taught me a lot. I used to travel with her. She taught me a lot about leadership, being decisive. I'm a very decisive human being. So she took that village girl who was broken with the dream that she had from an early age, and gave herself a second chance by studying chemical engineering, and she molded her so beautifully, and from being molded so beautifully, although she was very tough on me, but she did a great job. I mean, if I remember when I was student organization, we had an event, and CSIR was there to come and recruit students. And I was not aware that I'm talking to the head of HR at CSIR. I'm busy talking. Yeah, you guys don't recruit us. You want us to study these things. And I'm talking to the HO, like the head of research. And the following week, I went to Devon to launch the structure in Devon. And when I'm there, I get a call to say that you need to come and start a job on Monday at the CSIR. You were talking to the head of HR, and he listened. And he wants you to come and prove yourself, and come and prove the whole lot of things that you're talking about, So that's another fade as well that happened. And I got to CSIR. I'm doing my second year. I get to CSIR. I mean, that molding that I got from Prof. Pageng, of being professional, being consistent, of paying attention to my work, of going an extra mile, and also understanding that my work is my honor. People remember me with what I do, what I did. You guys will never remember me on how I work. You guys are going to remember me with what I've done, So I carried that with me. When I go to CSIR, I mean, I used to sleep in the lab. I used to sleep in the office. I used to mix chemicals as I pleased. No one knew about it because I was there at night. And me being there, I realized later when they did, the CEO of CSIR then, it was, I forgot his name, but, sorry, I have a visual mind, so I'm going to describe him. I hope he don't get me into trouble. He had a hearing issue. And he came down from the office, from the CEO office, to come to the department where I was working at CSR, to come and meet this girl, because I was the first young female black UNISA student, undergraduate student, to be hired by the CSIR. And while I was there, I got to win the Best In-Service Trainee Award, something that they started with me. So I was very persistent, and do not be fooled. I was at CSIR with my broken English. Yeah, I was that one in a meeting. If I don't understand, I don't understand. And they will wait for me because these are PhD people, master student, and I'm second year. I'm still learning Newton's second of law of motion. Like, I will stop a meeting and be like, hey, chief, what are you saying?
And I mean, CSIR is that highly intellectual environment.
Yeah, and people, remember my other disadvantage was even people younger than me who had good financial support from their families, they managed to get to things quicker. And one of my challenges was that I had to work at UNISA so that I can look after myself and also look after my family. You get what I mean? So I didn't have a lot of privilege in terms of, I wouldn't sit and read. Because by the minute I need to sit and read, Prof. Pageng needs me in the office. Or I need to be doing something to make an extra cash, So like Mamelo, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I used to be a hustler then. Yeah. Then I changed. Okay. Now I'm a serial entrepreneur.
So let's get into the entrepreneurship space then.
Yeah.
So how did you get into business? First product, and how did it evolve?
So entrepreneurship, I got into it when I was at CSIR. I was nominated as one of the ambassadors for UNISA to go to India. And when I was there, when people were touring India, Mumbai, I was in the lab. And I was questioning all the professors. And there's a guy that I engaged with who was telling me about textile. I mean, India and China, they are big in textiles. And we had a very lengthy conversation, although I couldn't remember it because you know how Indians speak, yeah? And also the words. So where I will grab, I did grab, you know, and I grew a lot of love for textiles. Then when I came back home, when I got home, my contract with CSIR was coming to an end. And by that time, a friend of mine, we were going to, you know, I was depressed that my contract is ending. We were going to Europa. There's a club in Pretoria, it's called Europa. Ah, see this one? Yeah. So, so we were going to a club in Europa, and a friend of mine, and then she cut herself. And we took her to it. No, at first we were like, friend, you'll be fine. Sellotape. I'm the scientist. Sellotape, the blood flow will reduce. They listened. We go to Europa. It was the 10 rand special. And you need to be there early, FYI. So yeah, so we there, and she's complaining about the pain, and we decided, you know, let's take her to Steve Biko. When she got to Steve Biko, they're like, no, this person, she needs to stay overnight. She needs to go for theater. Then she did all of those. We thinking that Bayomoroga fell, and then she comes out, and she ended up, when she comes back from theater, she didn't go to a normal ward. She was isolated. So in a hospital term, that means that she either picked up an infection or there's something wrong with her that they're trying to find out. Now, the whole information and experience that I got from CSIR, it came out when I visited my friend. I was trying to, you know, in the movies, you hug your friend from the bed. Yeah, I was trying to do that, and one of the doctors passed by and like, hey, don't ever do that. If something happens to her, she's going to stay here.
So you were hugging her
my friend.
while she's
yeah,
on the bed?
Yeah, while she was on the bed. Okay. So the nurse is like, if something happens here, she will stay here, will be able to look after her. What about you? If you go to home, like if you go home, who's going to look after you?
So meaning if you contracted something
yes.
while hugging her,
yes.
so you live with it,
yes.
with her they can...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically she was telling me, yeah, indirectly that they have a problem in the hospital that I was not aware of. I mean, I went home. I spent about 3 months in my sister's daughter's room, my niece, doing research about hospital-acquired infections. So these are the infections that you get when you go to a hospital. You can go to a hospital with flu. You can come back with something. Or you can go to a hospital, according to the regulation, you're supposed to stay in hospital for 7 days if it's long. And then you end up staying for 21 days, which is double the amount. What's happening to your medical aid? What's happening to the hospital when they're trying to maintain you? You know, so it's a lot of costing that was happening to the patient, a lot of pain, you, the patient, that's your pain. You don't want to stay there. You want to go home. You want to eat proper food, quarter, you know, and you are being kept here and you don't know. And as I went home and I did research, I realized that that is one of the communicable disease that we don't get to learn about. Yeah, and I did research and I spent about 2 months in a hospital. Again, now I have free time. CSIR fired mine. So I was going to the hospital almost every day, learning the psyche of the healthcare workers.
So when you go to the hospital, are you visiting someone or are you just going, Jay? How does that work?
Dr. Rush. At some point, I said I'm a journalist. Yeah, because yeah. Okay. So at some point, I said I'm a journalist. God forgive me. The second time around, I said there was one of the players who had an injury because I used to follow soccer a lot, and I said, yeah, we just from Sundowns because I knew the people from Sundowns, you know. So yeah, we just coming up with a story that yeah, we are here to support. I was wearing my jersey, so I always had a story, but I was not Dr. Matthew though. No pun intended. Yeah, but I went there. Please take that out. Yeah, but I went there and I got in and I will interview. I had my own questionnaire of curiosity because I was not polished for PhD or master's questionnaires. So I only had my own where I was curious. I will ask them, so sister, when you leave home, do you leave home with your own clothes? Come to the hospital and then change your clothes, get into the uniform. Then after your shift, you change your clothes, you go home. Like, no, I leave my house with the same clothes. I come and work a 12-hour shift. And then after that, I go home. Some didn't have cars. They will use taxis. Get in a taxi and then go back home. I'm like, when you get home, what do you do? And all of them said, the first thing that I do before I could even greet my family, I need to take a bath. And I asked them, why? They're like, there are infections here. And I'm like, what about us? So their doctor who told me not to hug my friend, the sister gave me a revelation. I'm like, aha. So you know.
So the sister leaves the hospital. She's carrying germs.
Yes.
Gets into a taxi.
Yes.
And spreading the germs in the taxi. Gets home.
Yes.
So basically she's not different from you hugging your friend.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there I went and I learned about any blunders that were in the hospital in terms of infection control. Yes, they do wash their hands. Yes, there are icons in government, we understand. And yeah, there were a lot of regulations coming to health and safety that were there on infection control reduction as well. But I picked up that textile was something that was not taken serious. It was something that was neglected. And also the conversation that I had in India, right? There's something that Steve Jobs said, that you connect the dot backwards going forward. So if you can listen to my story, So immediately I had an aha moment. I was like, oh, textiles. Then I went back another 3 months doing research. Now I know what I'm doing research on. So now I know what's the problem. I know what is the gap in the market. And I know exactly what I wanted to do. Oh, nightmare. Nightmare. I thought I'm going to produce a fabric that is going to kill germs. And I started doing research, and I learned that it was already in the market. You know, you're thinking you're coming with the best idea in the world. Like, I'm that girl. And somewhere, somehow, someone have done it. Now, I'm that person who doesn't give up. I went and I searched, what's still the gap? Yeah, you're doing it. Chinese are doing almost everything. But what's your gap? So I started going to the pitching sessions. You meet up with entrepreneurs. I had some bad pictures of myself at the Innovation Hub. I was pitching, and like this other guy said to me, we hear you, but Chief, we'll see you. Let others win. No one understood what I was trying to do to develop. Until I have this habit of going to universities. I need to scan the room. Going to universities and attend classes. So if I need help in marketing, I will go to UJ, marketing class.
So it's the same strategy at the hospital. You just sneaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get in and I listen, and I take notes. Because remember, I don't have money to take myself to school, and I need to come up with a plan, And the best thing that I have is my mind, and I'm coming up with a plan. So I sit, I listen, I learn business model canvases. I went and I will teach others so to make sure that I understand. And then I will see that there's a light. I'm like, okay, so they're teaching the right thing. That professor is right. Then I will book an appointment with the professor. So at some point I will commercialize my sneakiness. So I will legalize it. So I started going to sessions, and one day I was at Vets, and they were having a pitch session for the entrepreneurs at Vets, the student entrepreneurs at Vets. And I got in. I went to pitch, and I won. I won. It was TIA, Innovation Agency, that was there. And
So what are you pitching?
I am pitching the antimicrobial fabric. I am explaining to the judges. I think it was about 8 or 9 judges. And I was the first thing that I did was like, we are in a room and there are no windows, and we're only relying on an aircon. Do you guys know that there are bacteria around? And everyone said, you know what? Yeah, just like you. Like,
I just don't know now we are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and I started pitching my idea. I just told my story because I didn't have a product. I didn't know how I was going to create this fabric. I didn't even know anyone who could help me make this fabric. I just pitched my story. I just told them I was going to Europa, and this is what happened, and this is where we ended up, and this is the solution, and this is what I think we can do. And I won R1 million. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a millionaire.
No, the
No, back
company. The company.
The company is yours. But anyway. So you won the prize. Then I'm assuming you are now getting into prototype stage.
Yeah. So excited, won the R1 million. Now remember at home, they never believed that this entrepreneurship will work because this is a child who was number one, you know.
How will you go? Yeah. Who push it? What is that? The was strategy. Who go kama sila sila? What happened?
Yeah, that's the first word. That's But you call home, you're like, Mom, I won R1 million. Now everyone thinks the money is in your account immediately. You're like, no, the money is for prototype development. I signed my contract with Tia. The nice thing was that out of that money, I was also getting a stipend so that I can leave. It's very hard in entrepreneurship, you know. So that money, we get a technology station in Cape Town. And then we were assigned the technology station to do a prototype for us. I sit with the team. I tell them what I want to do, how my fabric's supposed to be, because remember, I know I've studied everyone in the market, what everyone is missing. I tell them, and Tia transfers the money to the technology station. And guess what? They paid themselves. And they didn't do the work. So I was shattered. I was depressed. I was crying. Now I have to go back. I wanna go high or these people, this is what they did to me. You can't even tell you because they thought the money is in your account. It's your money, you know. So it was a very dark moment, in my life. But I got incubated. So out of that opportunity of me sneaking into VETS, I ended up being incubated by the VETS Innovation Center. So they took me under their program, and they started. It was a Transnet Matlafatso Center then. So they took me in. They started helping me build a business. Now we moved from an idea to building a business, and they helped me to.
So you're building.
No, we're not building fabrics. We are building the business for the fabric. So once the fabric comes, how are we going to run this business? While CPUT, the strength and the support to go and get them to pay back the money, hashtag. And I took all the frustrations that I had over the years and poured it on them. And they gave me what was left. And I think I was left with about 700 and something thousand to, I think it was 300 and something thousand that was left. And I had to improvise. And I went back to my mentor at VETS, Mr. Solwazimajola, and I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to make a plan. And then I disappeared. You know, in entrepreneurship, you have the depression moment, and then you pick yourself up, and then you go to depression. Then I went to depression to recover, right? And then I recovered. I came back as like, Mr. So, this is how we're going to do it. And then my plan didn't work. And then I disappeared again. And then I came back. I was like, Mr. So, I found another plan. We're going to pivot. And every time he would just look at me like, who are you? And I'm like, an entrepreneur. So in one of the classes at VETS again.
So you're going to VETS, you're not even paying school fees. It's like, you just decide, I'm going to class. Where do you get the timetable from? I'm just curious.
When you are roaming around and you have time, you research, you ask. I'm a people's person. I talk to everyone. I will talk to you and you will think that I'm from Alexandra. That's me.
All right.
Yeah, now I know the section 13. So the next time I come, so that's me.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Saul, you are back. This is where I met you, right?
Yes. Yeah, you met me at VETS. And I was very...
Yeah, you were very energetic. I'm like, and then you vanished.
Yeah, and skinny.
Yeah, then
Yeah. Hey, Nelasono. So yeah.
That was a depression time.
Yeah. Neke go wisha, but neke go duka. So yeah, so I attended one of at Gibbs, the business school now levels.
So you're moving from UJ first, now Gibbs.
Gibbs. At Gibbs, there's this gentleman, Dr. Sivanda. He was pitching his idea there, and he won the competition. And he was talking about how he's going to build a net for mosquito repellent people. And I'm like, net, textiles. I found my supplier. And then I went to him, Dr. Sivanda, my name is Khameti, and he's Zulu, and I'm Tswana from Pretoria, and I'm like,
What's Zulu?
yeah. So I had to like shell him, in entrepreneurship we shell. Then I had to shell him, and then he bought into the idea. He's like, come, let's talk. And I'm like, I don't have money because someone decided to pay themselves, I started with my set story going up, and then the set story worked. And he's like, come, let's see what we can do. And mind you, this was his PhD work. And he gave me a chance. He opened the door. I went there. I told him about the work that I did at CSIR, like I was there yesterday. And then he's like, what can you do? I'm like, I want you to build it for me. I'm going to look for the money. Develop this thing how I want it, and I'm going to get the money. I think we pivoted like twice. Yeah, so the first one, I wanted to use raw materials. It didn't work. And I went back to Mr. Sol. I'm like, Mr. Sol, it failed, but we're going to get it right. Right? Trust me. Then I disappeared. And then I came back, and then that's when my money was now available. I'm coming back with Dr. Sivanda and the money. Mr. Sol is like, he just stood up and clapped, like, who are you? I'm like, I told you. So we find this Dr. Sivanda, and then he develops this fiber for us. So this is the fiber. So we move from an idea to this.
And illegal classes to this, okay?
So it's patented. So this is a fiber. So I'm someone who, I don't like relying on people much. If you listen to my story, I was all alone. So I wanted to start from this stage of my fabric, because I know that when I have this, I can do anything that is textile based. I can do a fabric. I can do anything. I can do bandage. I can do anything as long as it is textile based. So I knew that now I have the core of my business. So we developed this, patented, tested with Mintech. Yeah, all the compliance and everything, it's fine, it's sorted. Right? Now we move from here. We take this, we weave it. So I found during COVID, a lot of textile industries were closing down. So I found this other company, and I'm like, if you can help me develop my fabric, I'll make you guys billionaires. And this guy is like an Italian guy, and he's like, you are young, come work for me. I'm like, in exchange of what? And he's like, you will get the knowledge. I'm like, I have vets on my CV. I have CSIR. I have Dr. Sivanda who is doing his PhD. Do you know who I am? And he's like, and I'm like, I have Tia with $1 million. Can I have $1 million? That time is, nah. Because it's been so many, I've been working on this for the past 6 years. And yeah, they agreed, and then we weaved our first sample. We take it to be tested as SABS, and then it fails. And I'm like, Mr. So, I'm coming back again. So we just weaved this one, got tested, and it passed.
So what's the difference?
Yeah.
What does this do?
So we have infused a natural antimicrobial agent.
What does it do?
So basically what it does, this thing, when it's in the room, you will feel it by the smell. So it kills the germs in the room. Yes. Yeah. So when it smells, it means that it's killing. It's repellent. Yes. So bacteria can grow on this. Like the drip I'm wearing, I can hug all of you guys. I won't get any bacteria on me. Yes. So that's what it does. So imagine this in a healthcare, on a bed. Imagine this on curtains in hospitals. Imagine this in your own home, on the couches. Imagine this in your pillowcases. Like imagine the socks that I'm wearing, they're antibacterial. So basically what it means is that if I sweat, my feet don't smell. Like I can wear this forever. I have to wash them when I see a stain. When there's no stain, I don't have to wash them. Because basically, I get a sweat that comes with the bacteria. So then there's no bacteria. Why must I wash my socks? You know? But if you want to wash it, you can wash it. So far, I'm at 20 washes. So you can wash it up until 20 times. It will still be antimicrobial. It's just that I'm now looking for money, hence me and Dr. Roche, I'm the mentee. It's going to help me get money so that I can wash it until it's exhausted, where I can be able to say that this amount of washes that you can perform on this, and it will still be antimicrobial. So in short, antimicrobial means that there is no bacterial growth.
Got it.
On the fabric. So we call ourselves Gideon Guard, that's our brand name. We believe that we are gem busters. We believe that people deserve to live longer. You know, health, it's something that it's been, I mean, even if you look at our budget from the government, the healthcare is always given less money, but it's the one that has so many challenges, you know, and these long stays that are happening, we need to find other ways. We are not saying hand wash doesn't work, but we are saying let's introduce something that will help the hand wash so that we can reduce the bacteria exchange.
Okay, coming back. So you do this, you weave this, right?
Yeah.
And then after this, the socks, right?
Yeah.
So you've got products.
Yes.
Now you're in business.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And no, maybe not a lot of people are offering this.
Yeah.
Right? So surely there's no blunder there.
Yeah, there's a blunder. Let's go back, fast forward, backwards. So when I was when I was grieving CPUT, chowing the money, I had to come up with a plan because I had to survive. I moved from Pretoria, I came to Joburg because now I get the classes are getting hectic, so I need to be close. My schedule was tight, so I moved to Soweto. I moved to a room. I started staying in Dobsonville. It was too far to go to town. I moved from Dobsonville to Deep Kloof. I got a room there. That person, Chief, don't you have mattress that you don't use? Don't you have a? Yeah, man, I've just started. I'm from home in Pretoria. People were giving and stuff, and I was happy. Take them, leave. Life was moving on. As an extra income, I used to teach maths and science. That's how I was managing to eat, you know. Yeah, so in the midst of that, I decided, you know what, every time I talk to people about antibacterial, I look crazy. And I know I'm not. And I don't like it when I look crazy because I know I'm smart. I decided to, okay, let's go teach people about bacteria. Where do we start? I started going to townships. I started Soweto because it was close. I started going to taxi ranks. I started going to preschools. I used to have baguette there, crate, and 25 liter yamezi, and I bought a soap from Ditto. And
so you go to Bara,
yeah,
taxi rank, and my Zulu friends are there.
Ah.
So what's happening? I mean,
sanibonani, wozani nizogeza izandla la. It was very funny. It was, my videos are still there, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
So you go to the taxi rank and tell people to geza izandla.
Hey, bro, imagine the
talking about bacteria.
Number one, they want to. What's that? Musuze lab, musuze. Like they saying worki tibela traffic. Like abantu bafuna uyemela wena busy lab. Like it was always a commotion every day until they got used to me because I will definitely defend myself. I'll go to them like, hey, Baba, someone with my broken Zulu, and they will laugh.
So what would you do? You set up and then what happens?
So I set up. And then I will call people. I started with the nurses. We are here to teach people how to wash hands, just to help people prevent bacteria even when they get home, or people learn about good hygiene practice. Please, come, let's wash hands. The nurses, for them, I was doing an awareness for them, remember? They're supposed to be doing that. So they were engaging. It's the civilians. It's the people who are just passing. Hi, taxi, so and then you try to like, yeah, but there were those who were willing to go. You know, there will always be those who wants to come. And also they used to have a mammogram mobile clinic. So I will always squeeze myself next to it. Yeah, I'm like, you see, they test you with things, ne? Yeah, did you wash your hands? Come, wash your hands. And I was recording all of this. I was collecting data of all of this. I didn't know what I was doing then, but I know now what I was doing. So in the midst of me going to preschools, because now the adults were giving me a headache, I decided to go to the kids. When I was educating the kids, one of the teachers was like to me, Secha, you are so smart. Why don't you make your own soap? Stop using this brand soap. Make your own. You know, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And I learned something at CSIR. And yeah, I started making my own hand soap and hand sanitizer. But first, I bought these other ones to copy from them because I wanted to make a good product. So
when was this? Before COVID?
We're talking about 20, I always tattoo stories, 2016, 2017.
Okay, so what's the story there? Just a bit detail, quickly.
Yeah, so the story for detail was that I was affirming myself. I was affirming Sakameti that she's okay. She's in the right track.
So this is 2016,
Yeah.
17?
This is 2016.
Way before COVID?
Yeah, way before COVID. I mean, the idea came to me in 2015. On the 28th of December 2015, that's when I got an idea of developing the antimicrobial fabric. I also did a tattoo of faith to say that no one is going to believe you, but it's between you and God. You have to go and see it through. Yeah, so the hand wash thing, the hand sanitizer, it was an affirmation to say to myself that, hey, rural girl, we are onto something, let's go.
So this hand sanitizer, Dettol version of yours is a stepping stone to this?
Yes. So I was somehow paving a way for the fabric. So I was basically making the people aware that they have bacteria and make them scared that they have bacteria so that when I launch the fabric, they will trust me. Get it?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I started manufacturing my own hand soap and hand sanitizer. And it was easy.
We're at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was staying with my partner. Hey, there was a problem. There was a problem. But anyway, so yeah, it was easy for me in a sense that whenever I finish teaching someone how to wash their hands, they'll be able to ask me, so sisi masifika ekhaya senza kanjani? And I'll be able to pull out the hand sanitizer or hand soap and say, Mama, give me 35 rand. Nah.
Home.
You see? Change. So now I was not doing it for free. And I even pivoted my stand. And then I got a better bucket that had the drip. You know, now they were washing down there. So we were
So you were
growing.
making money?
Yeah.
So by the time COVID came, you were...
Oh, man. COVID came, hey, you're not going to like this one. So this friend of mine was invited. He got a stall at the youth Indaba that happens every June 16 under the government at Nazareth. So a friend of mine had a stall to go and showcase his product there. And then I squeezed myself in. I'm like, then I have sanitizers. Let's put them there and educate people to wash their hands. And my friend was like, it's fine, cool, come through. And I went there. When I got there, it was the NYDA, the Tepa 1 Million program. Everyone was just there, you know, the MEC was there. And they announced that they have a competition under NYDA stand. And I sneaked. Okay, I went. And 5 minutes pitch, elevation pitch, I pitched. And it was the first level, second level, and now they're looking at the papers. And then I get my name is not. So now it's coming somewhere. And then I come there, they're like, come. And now everything is cameras, you can't chase me away. I need to come and pitch. Then I went there and I pitched, and I won. I won 60K. Yeah, it was a free 60,000 that we won there. Yeah, it was 60K or 30K. Yeah, so I won that with Tepa 1 Million and NYDA. And that money, I took it and I went to buy raw materials. I also went to buy other stuff that we needed, like your labeling machine, all of those, because I was now focused on the hand sanitizers and the hand soap. So I had all of the raw materials, all the product, and still at my partner's place. And yeah, so when COVID hit, because I won the competition, when NYDA looked on their database, I was relevant. So they gave me an opportunity to do an interview. I killed it. I didn't make them breathe. I made sure that I went there prepared and I killed it. And that opened up more doors with Tepo 1 Million. Tepo 1 Million was like, hey, we need you now to come and help other young people. Come and tell your story and do interviews. I did YFM, and this is free marketing for us. I'm not paying for it. All I do is pitch and smile. I was also getting free lunch. So, so I did YFM, I did Newsroom, I did ENCA. I took advantage of everything. When they say they're publishing a magazine, I'm there. Gideon Guards, when they are traveling to wherever, youth invention, what, as long as there's Tepo 1 Million, I'm there. So yeah, I just use that vehicle to market my business with a budget that I never had. But my biggest wow was that those taxi drivers that were pushing me around whenever I was thinking, when COVID hit, they knew where to get hand sanitizers and hand soaps. Before the government could come, I already built my thingy. The preschool teachers, I was doing the 100 mil for the kids. When they were saying, parents, kids must come with hand soaps. Yeah, now I was talking to the principal, and then we were charging you, and then, yeah. So I created the market. In Soweto, Gideon Guard sanitizers were everywhere. Everywhere.
So you were making money. So during COVID, others were complaining, you were milking it.
Yo, Dr. Roche, I saw so much money for the first time in my life. So much money. This is someone who was surviving on other people's blessings. This is someone who was hustling there and there, So, yeah, I didn't realize I had money trauma.
So before we talk about money trauma, so how much, more or less, are we talking about? 500,000, almost 1 million, shy of 5 million? How much are we talking about?
We're talking about so many zeros.
Okay.
Yeah, there were so many zeros.
Yeah, okay, let's not disclose, otherwise
Yeah.
it goes for also.
Yeah.
So you've got...
No, the money is gone.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, okay, maybe let's backtrack. So the money, you're making money, then what happens?
No, I get the money must go and pay people. So it's no, but the biggest blunder came into my story in that season when you're seeing so much money for the first time and you tell yourself that I've been working so hard. Finally, my prayers have been answered. Right? That's the first thing. That's the first code you tell yourself. Oh, finally, I've now making money.
God is alive.
Yeah, come on, somebody. So, yeah, I was telling you the story that it was very funny. I worked throughout COVID, and money was just piling up because I couldn't use it, And the minute the president opened the country, just for you to see that I had money trauma, I went to McDonald's and I bought a Big Mac with so many zeros in my account. I wanted a 39 rand 90. I even have a picture with that Big Mac, And people had plans for the money. Yeah?
Your money. Your money.
People had plans for the money. So it's
So what happened to the money except the Big Mac?
Yeah, so now that I was doing interviews, now I was known. I remember when they opened, because the money was just so much. I used to go out a lot. Remember now I'm doing all of the things that I was not doing because I was hustling. I remember I met Lebohang at the club in Shakers. No, Lebohang was there selling Skinny's Boo socks.
Hustling.
And I was chowing my money. Right? And then we even have a picture together. And then in the picture, I'm telling him it's a video. I'm telling him that one day I'm going to have my socks. You must tell Skinny's Boo that I'm going to have medical socks that are going to blow the... It's on the video. You know, I was telling Dr. Roche when I saw that he's on the post, I'm like, oh my God. You know, so it's yeah, I was the girl. I was buying things cash.
So you were living it up.
Yeah, I was buying things cash. Just like Mamelo. I paid.
Swipe.
Yeah, I was swiping. I had a black card for the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Probably bought him something. Now bought you a bottle. No, I'm joking. I was not a bottle person, but I was. Yeah, I was buying things cash. I was that person when a friend say, I said, you know, because I thought these are the people who were there for me. Now it's time for me to pay back. It was just trauma, and also I lost my sister during COVID, and now I'm dealing with it, and you know, it was just a lot. I mean, I got a rental space, I got a warehouse. All of these are on YouTube. If you Google my name, Khamisongwane, you will see these things that I'm telling you. That when you're gonna look at them, you're gonna be like, oh man, you had a warehouse, you had stuff, you had buggies, you had, you know, you were with Kuto Teleji, you were having lunch with the president mentioned you on Youth Day, you know, all of those things were happening, but I was on autopilot. I was not there. I was not there.
So you literally blew it.
Yeah, 100%. I blew it. I blew it. I mean, I remember I was moving into my apartment and I bought everything cash. I was that person who was paying rent forward. Because I thought, when I was doing that, I thought I'm creating space in my mind so that I could cool down. Because remember, I was working when everyone was chilling at home. And I was doing interviews and all that. So I thought doing all of those, I'm creating space so that I can also heal. Because I automatically had to take care of the kids. I had to become a parent, you know. So now I'm a parent. I am going through. That was just a lot. Like,
money just to.
Yeah, and there was money to ease the pain, you know. So yeah, Dr. Roche, that money I kicked it.
So, the president opens. You go, you buy a burger, you chow it, but obviously it means that regulations are slowly easing.
Yeah.
What does it mean for your business?
It means that people now, they do no longer buy hand sanitizers. It means that when I'm busy blowing, there's no money coming in, right? And I had to think on my feet. What do we do? Because we need to save this image.
Yeah, president has mentioned.
Yeah, like,
you
hey,
need to
yeah,
go back
hi.
to the-
You know, when I go home to the villages, after the president mentioned me, it was nice. It was nice. I don't want to lie to you. It was nice because when you grew up, I mean, we were financially disadvantaged. Yeah. So now you created this respect to your surname, you know. So whenever I walk around, you know. So it was a very proudful moment that I wouldn't even exchange it for anything, because at some point I was seen. I mean, I even had cousins that I didn't know calling me, you know. Yeah, like it brought a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you realize the money is going down, and there's literally not much left. What happens to your state of mind?
I was depressed. That type again, Mr. So, I have to go away.
So you okay?
Yeah. I have to go away. It's that time of my life where I need to recoup, and grateful for that moment, because this time around I didn't go and fix things myself. I went to church. I went back to God and said, God, this is you seeking my attention, because there's no way, bruh. Like, I'm innovative. I can come up with another idea. I mean, I already had a mobile car wash business happening. I was supplying PPE to Swaziland, Namibia. I mean, I had a lot of things that I could do. But then I was like, when the money was going, and I realized the money is leaving the account when I was left with 100 and something thousand, I know that I will never go back to those many zeros. Yeah, I knew that levering.
So you're one of those, I'm broke, you get 100 and something thousand in the account.
Yeah, because because you made so many zeros in a week.
Yeah.
When COVID hit, I made money in 2 days. I saw those zeros in 2 days. And you know when you are sleeping and you wake up and then you just hear ting, ting, and I give a Android then, like, ting, or you hear that sound, ting, ting, ting. And you wake up, you're like, hi. Hi. And then you want someone to confirm for you, like, hey, so
Okay,
like, is this true? And the person later is like, no ways. Sanitizer. You are like, no ways, ne? Tomorrow I'll go to the bank. When I get to the bank, I'm already getting a banker.
What's a lucky?
Yeah, I'm one of those. Miss Songwane? Yes.
Yeah, you don't queue with us.
Yeah, and you know.
Number 152.
Why black consciousness, especially how we take the other ones, ne?
So, in conclusion, I mean, you know, what lessons have you learned from?
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that surround yourself with the people of the same vision. Mentorship. There's something that guy mentioned that was very profound, that indlela ibuzwa phambili. That's one of the things that I failed. You know, if I could have surrounded myself with people who could have told me that, Seha, no, you don't do this with your funds. People who could have picked up that I have financial illiteracy, you know, they would have equipped me, they would have taught me, you get what I mean? So mentorship, I mean, I'm looking at my life now that in the 2 months that I've been with you, we've achieved so much. And I looked at my life and I'm like, if I could have had the kind of mentor, and I have to give you your flowers now and say, Dr. Roche is a kind of mentor who listens. He doesn't talk when you talk. Like this, we sit and I'm the one who's going on. And then he will ask you one question and then you overthink everything that you just spoken about, you know? And I believe if I had that kind of mentor who's so strong, who's so founded, who's not moved by the interviews, the money, the image, I could have sustained that business, you know, whether the sanitizers were still in fashion or not, because we are even SABS approved. So which means that even today I can still supply a sanitizer. I can still get it on the shelf. But then that thing fell off because I didn't have the right company as well, guys. The friends that you keep. There's someone who once said on the 5 numbers of friends that you have. If there's no millionaire, you must know that bam, 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 you're going down, you know. So the kind of friends that you have, also choose your friend wisely. Right now, my friends are above, when I say you're my friends are above 60. I don't chill with no. I chill with people who are 65. I chill with people who are like your 80s, 90s. And it's although they make me things that I sometimes question, but like they will want me to go play golf. I mean, it's hot. And they will ask you to carry their golf because you are young. But the lesson that I always get from them is that take your time, life is long. Yeah.
So I was talking to someone, I mean, I always say this to people to say when the student is ready,
yeah,
the teacher will appear, right?
Yeah.
And there are people who, and that's so hard, you know, if I had this, I'm like, yeah, but when you had those millions, chances are you wouldn't even hear me. Like I give this example like quite a lot at workshops to say right now if all of us here were to receive $1 million on our SM, we're like, ding, what? $1 million, what? Most people would leave.
Yeah.
And here's a lesson on finance that we're talking about, money management. But people are listening like, what? $1 million? No, I'll catch the lesson later.
I will argue that. I will argue that and say that if you are an intentional mentor, you will find a way through to me. You get what I mean? If it's an intentional relationship, you will find a way to me. And also remember that there's this mentality that because of Keshamid and I'm the CEO of Gideon Inno Textile, I am Gideon Inno Textile. No, I am not. That is why you can have a board of directors. That's why you can have, all of those things. So that mentality on its own, people start fearing you and thinking that you are Gideon God. I mean, there are people who still call me Gideon. And I'll be like, I'm not Gideon. I am Sehamit, you know. So it's one of those. If you have intentional people around you, like what I'm doing with my nephew, he knows. I take the phone and drive to Joburg. And I'll be like, if you want your phone, you will walk or drive or find a way. Oksalayo, I'm intentional because I can see that he's wasting his life, you know. Yeah.
So, could the taxi drivers at Bara, what did they say? I mean, that was my people, those ones.
Yeah, my name was Slotate. I think whoever it made sense to them, they will just call me that, and I was okay with it. I mean, the preschool kids used to call me Auntie Water.
Auntie Water.
Yeah, and the taxi drivers, Manzi, Sheka. Like, if I hear one of those, I know they're talking to me. Yeah, Sekamanzi, the vendors will say, you know, everyone will just translate it to their language. And I got, for me, it was, yeah, I'm one of them, you know. Yeah, because, it was.
Yeah, I mean, in African culture, if we give you a nickname, it means
you are one of us. Yes, you have been welcomed.
Yeah.
And even now with the socks project, it was easy for me to go back to them and say, I've made socks. I know Baba already the whole day let's clap him out. Socks market research. They were open to help me. They were open to hear me out. And I did my market research to quantify that yes, there is a need. People now they know that they can have those socks. They're not only gonna be boring like this, they're gonna be nice and funky and come with the papers, you know. So yeah, it's even today. Give me some coffee cup.
On that very note, ladies and gentlemen, can we give it up for Sikamanzi? All right, thank you so much, guys. I think we've come to the end. Your deliverance is here, the food is here. I think we can call it a wrap. The speakers are still here, so if you have any questions, please ask them. And yeah, Friday, guys.
Yeah, and the socks are going for 50 rand.
The socks are going for 50 bucks. Guys, thank you so much. And yeah, I don't know where the food is, but I'm sure we'll make it up. We'll squeeze ourselves somewhere. Thank you so much, guys. Please subscribe. Or can I give prizes? Should I give? All right.
Sure.
Okay. One.
Oh. But there's a sun.
2.
It's fine.
3. People. Hey. Can I have your coffee? Thank you. So I'm giving this 4. All right. So let's start with the first.
Your mic is not coming out.
Guys, you know the rules, right? Your name should be if you have subscribed to my biggest brother. Right. Mapaseka. Woo, don't miss that one. Oh, Mapaseka. It's going once, Mapaseka. Going twice, Mapaseka. Going 2 and a gone. Okay. Where's the proof? Proof. Oh, you'll check it. All right. Okay. Oh, here. Yeah. Ari, focus. All right, Jabu Stone's book, Turning Passion into Profit. Again, guys, the rules is I want evidence that you have subscribed. Nkosi. Oh, should I pass it? Okay. All right. Proof, evidence. Okay. All right. Ikofi from Labs. All right. All right. No, it cannot be Lebohanyande. No. It's his coffee. Who's this? Tulans. Who's Tulans? Tulans. Tulani. Tulani. Ah. Hey guys, you have to be here to win. Katlego? Subscribed. Okay, come. Okay. All right, and then Olisa, local girl. Are you guys tweeting? You have tweeted. Mary Madikwadi. Hey, there's no screaming here. It's like serious, folks. Can I see, madam? Evidence. All right. What do I check? Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So what do I check? All right, guys. I have this one's left, so I'm gonna go through Twitter and see who has tweeted. All right. We have Twitter. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next version next year. And we hope that you guys have a blessed festive season. And let's see. Oh, no one tweeted. Okay. I don't see anyone. Hey. Who? Which hashtag did you guys? You must learn from the mistake of others. Spoo, breathe. Who's Spoo? Oh, awesome. Spoo. Yeah, no, I said you can come and win. I had the incredible privilege of attending my biggest blunders at SAFEHUB in Alexandra Inspirational Speakers. Ritumesi ML. That's it. No one else tweeted. Which hashtag? Which hashtag? Which hashtag did you guys use? All right, let's see. Let's see. Yo, let's take the tweet. All right, guys, I can't see anything on Twitter. All right, let's see. Nope, nothing. All right, guys, can we have lunch, please? I can't see it. Oh, wait. It's the same person. It's the same person. It's the same person. Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Can we call it a wrap?